Live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to ARMA League 2020. We are your commentators for today. I am JCakes as usual, and we are joined by SBT.
Hello.
And what should be Daisuke, but he doesn't seem to be online yet, so we'll get him on the mic when he does get online. Um, I'm sure, just a few mistimings. I'm sure we'll be able to get him online later today. So if we look onto the Google Doc, we will go through the rules very quickly for the tournament. So the important rules are red fives, Kiriage Mangan or Rounded Mangan, no bankruptcy, insta flip on the Dora, no Nagashi, no abortive draws, a head bump or a Tamahane instead of a double run or a triple run, and no Agariyame slash Tempayame, meaning you cannot end your dealership at South 4 unless you have lost the hand, quote unquote. Yes. So, we were gonna. I'm sorry. To check the leaderboard for today, we have Flame Curse Evil Eye in first place, Chombonami in second place, the last Weiss players in third place, Doras for losers in fourth place, AUNSW Wanderers in fifth place, Tile Dreaming in sixth, Notice Me Tenpai in seventh, the Powerpuff Boys in eighth, Zomoni Cheteridus in ninth, and Khan for Fun in 10th place. This will be we are in week 3, second day, so Hanchan 3. These are the players firing off in their Hanchans, assuming everything goes all right in the technicalities. SBT is handling that right now as we speak. Today we'll be watching game 2. Which will be this table over here. Main reason for watching this table is because it is indeed a Melbourne cannibalism table. So each of these players is from Melbourne, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they play with one another, I suppose. And so I've personally requested that we watch this table. Game did fire off about 4 minutes ago, so if we click in, we only have about a minute of downtime left. Everything all right with the other game, SPT?
The other player, one player has not logged into the correct lobby. They should make it in time, provided they know how to use Tenho.
Just a few lobby problems, I suppose. It's all right. I'm sure we'll get through them. Okay.
Some players are unfortunately unfamiliar with how Tenho runs. However, I'm personally of the opinion at week 3, especially after week 1, if at week 3 you are unfamiliar with how Tenho works, you need a stern talking to.
For reference to the audience, we've had a few problems with running the rooms and getting players in, so SBT has felt a bit frustrated at that, understandably, reasonably. So I'll take over for the main commentary, and we'll get the good old SBT analogies in as soon as we can run the next games. Let me close down this document and let's get right in here. So we have No Visa in the east seat, Ozball in the south seat, Pepe in the west seat, and I believe this is a new account for DC in the north
Yes.
seat.
Previously, Smiles has reformatted his computer and unfortunately has lost his Tenho ID. Fortunately for him, he's not exactly he's not a Tenho player, so not losing all too much, but unfortunate nonetheless.
Yes, yes. So Dora is the 5 so, and we see Ishan 10 for No Visa here. Could be a Reach Nomi. could be Pinfu added if he can connect off the Forso. A quick call from Philip puts him into Pepe. Pepe puts him, or Pepe? Pipi puts him into Ishanten, now into Tenpai for 2-5 so for Sha Takame Dora 1 if he can get the 5 so. Unfortunately, he does not get the 5 so, wins just off the 2 so for Sha Nomi 1000 points. Very nice, quick win, pushes someone off their dealership and moves us on to East 2. What do we see if we look around here? We see a nice 2-pin Unko 8-man pair from Ozball. This is a very fast Tanyao shape. Unfortunately, though, to progress in the Tanyao shape, he will have to get rid of the 1-man. So choosing to get rid of it sooner rather than later, seeing that he probably has no need for it and won't have to worry too much about it, I presume. PP over here has the the Ton pair. And 1 Dora. However, the Dora is only connected off in a 1-3 Kanchan, so will be undecided as to whether or not he can pawn it. Well, will be interesting to see if he does choose to pawn it and get that quick Yaku. A pin pawn from Ozball going for Tanya Nomi. Yeah, Tanya Nomi maybe Toy Toy if he can connect, draw another 3 or 4 so. Maybe Sananko if you can even draw all those 3 or 4 so's without having to pawn the rest of them off. On the left here, we have Ishanten for Dora Dora. However, it's very hard to imagine how Smiles or DC can get into Tenpai for that Dora Dora shape in using the 1-man. Most likely we'll have to get rid of the 1-man in the process. Oz did get into Tenpai for 2-5 so and does run off of PP for 1,500 points. Very low pointed start to everything, but you know, prepping the grenades, I suppose, that eventually come with Akaari. Yes, so opening hand, Oz does open with 2 Akadora. Wow, it opens with a complete block, a Roundman, 2 pairs, and another Roundman. So chooses to get rid of the 8-9 pin Penchan first, adopting the mentality that perhaps since it's the very, very, very early game, he will filter down his shapes faster rather than worrying about have to go for maybe absolute Shanten, especially wanting to keep the Aka 5 pin. We see Chun pair, Hatsu pair, and 1 alone Haku from the PP. Maybe Shosangan chance. We'll have to see if they decide to greed it. The natural progression to Tenpai, however, does seem to imply it would be a 1,000 point hand, but it depends on how greedy PP chooses to push forward that hand. For the player, for no visa, we see 6 block. So 6 block theory with 5 roundmans and 1 completed meld, choosing to float the pair, choosing perhaps to float the pair and being able to draw into an identical copy of one of the roundmans, and as such, pushing the 6 block forward. Chi on the Dora from PP upgrades his hand from Hatsu to Hatsu Dora, maybe Hatsu Dora Dora if he can get the other Chun. It'd be a bit greedy. Okay, I was gonna say it'd be a bit greedy to imagine if PP pawns the Chun if he would keep the Haku to cry and go for Shosangen. Fortunately, he doesn't even get opted the option. Getting the 3 pin and pawning it does sumo the 8 star for Hatsu. Yeah, Hatsu Dora. 700, 1,300 plus 1 Humba. So 800, 1,400.
There's definitely an interesting point there with how his hand naturally wouldn't progress towards the Shosangen, but depending on the draws, it was actually unlikely, but definitely the possibility was there.
Yep.
Quick pawn for Visa. Visa is you know, it's the quick pawn with the Akadora there is typically a pretty fine play. Standard lines with East being so close, you kind of want to just get the points and see where you can go with this. Meanwhile, Oswald has a potentially Honitsu, even maybe Shinitsu looking hand. However, keeps drawing the Muns here isn't exactly the best thing for him. PP on the other hand here pairs up his 2 Mun. Lots of pairs here could possibly go towards a maybe a Chi Toy Dora Dora here, but that possibility is quite far away as of right now. We see this is DC or Smiles, as we've mentioned before, probably the most normal looking hand of the bunch. Normal closed looking hand rather. We do see Visa here, Tenpai, manages to find it immediately after Tenpai for Chundora 1, 2,000 points off of the dealer here. So shifts dealership and grabs himself the lead here. Visa, probably just standard play here will get him the first place if he wants to shoot for it. However, DC will probably be looking for some kind of big play here. It does have that Dora Dora Aka. Unfortunately, no Tan Yao shape, so he's going to have to play this pretty standard, but could progress towards maybe a Pinfu style hand, so a lot more traditional than you could otherwise go for. Visa, pair of the Souths, and potential Mungan chance. However, with the 5 Muns hoarded in DC's hand here, it's actually going to be a little bit awkward to build with his current shape. So we're likely to see more maybe like a Nun Dora shape for him. Ozbol, standard hand here. Definitely moving towards maybe a reach style hand. And finally, PP has Dora acceptance here. Already pawned and cheed. Definitely looking to finish up his hand as soon as possible here.
So we still have the fight of the Ishantens right now.
Definitely.
Have to hope see who gets into Tenpai first and how people will react to Tenpai.
Pawn and Tenpai here for PP.
8 mana immediate draw. 4 Smiles dealing into Ton Haku for 2,000 points.
It's not what you want, especially in your dealership where scores are close and you really want to make your dealership count, especially dealing in. Unfortunately not the best thing in the world for him. Does manage to pawn the pay here. Dora Dora, so this is definitely a recovery hand if he can get it.
Very
and
fast.
Funnily enough, it would also be the biggest hand so far this game.
Yeah, we haven't had a hand that go past, 3,000 points so far?
I don't think it's gone past, 200. The biggest so far may have actually been that Sumo 2700.
Sorry, I'm still messing around with the audio settings because now you're too loud. Let me put that back. I definitely caveman brained it. I put in 2 gain filters.
Oh man, no, that'd be way too loud with 2
Well, I put
gain
no. I put 1 gain filter and you were still too soft. So I put another gain filter, and now you're too loud. So it's somewhere in between. And then we've hit that nice intermediate.
I see. Can we we should make sure that this volume setting stays here, so we never have to change it ever again.
Oh no, I've been having the volume. Pretty sure it's similar. It's just I try to adapt depending on the responses. So
Tenpai here for DC. Iso Tunky on Pay Dora Dora. Would you ever switch to the Dora Tunky? I would. But would you ever actually switch to Dora Tunky?
I'd be tempted. I'd be tempted because you could draw the 3-pin or the 7-pin and try to go like a Roundman that way. Onso has a higher run rate, but how high is the run rate on Onso?
I feel like it definitely depends on who you're playing against. In this situation right now,
PP. The Onso is very vulnerable right now.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. In this situation here, Iso run rate is just a touch high.
Yeah.
We do see the Haku Anko for Ozbol here. Now, his hand knowing Oz, I feel as if he doesn't actually want to go towards the Honitsu here, but he's gonna go for it anyway. Because Nenhon Haku here is big. That said, he does have to pass a door if he wants it, so I feel like we're unlikely to see it.
Unfortunately, the one so does come out from PP's hand, dealing into 3,900 into Smiles, moving us on to South 2. Matt, this is a lightning fast Hanchan. Have we had a Renchan yet? Yeah, I think we had one Renchan and that's it, which was Oz. He won the Tanyao Nomi.
Wow. Insane.
Absolutely insane. This is so fast.
At this rate, we might even get to like jump into the other game.
Yeah, okay, so it's gonna be this was a similar situation to the game that we were watching yesterday, which was like thin point margins between each of the players, and sort of seeing maybe how comfortable those players are. You know, some players are more comfortable with like playing either huge catch up, perhaps, or you know, maybe comfortable is the wrong word. That they're more uncomfortable with thinner margins because it feels like every little mistake can decide the Hanchan for you at that point. We'll have to see how each of the players react if they decide to go for maybe more greed or maybe more value.
It definitely looks like the players in this specific game are very open heavy. They definitely like those faster open hands. This Reacher here from Visa is probably the first Reacher of the game, if I haven't missed any. And unfortunately, it's also the worst Reacher of the game so far. Double ESO drop, loses a lot of value here, and 2-man 8-pin is probably, like, honestly speaking, it's probably the worst set of weights I've seen this entire tournament. Like, I'm not blaming Visa for the line, I'm just pointing out the fact that this weight is atrocious.
I think that was exactly the point I was bringing up before, which was like, when you're in these high and tight situations, do you go for that faster hand to try and get the value into your hand, or are you going to try and go for faster? Visa was exactly offered that option. He had a choice to keep the one so, which is admittedly extremely awkward, or take the earlier Ricci on the, I think this is called Nabakare. It's like a bloated weight to one side and a pair weight on the other side. Would have been interesting to see if Visa had cut the 8-pin instead of the 1-so, and maybe tried to float the Ipeiko, and then perhaps if they can draw neighbors to the 1-so, or even draw the 1-so itself, reach you for that. But, I guess we won't know. Unfortunately for Navisa, his weight is dead, as is the nature of have a weight this awful.
In technicality speaking, because it's a deal. Oh, it's not even dealer Ichi.
No, it's not.
I with dealer. If this was dealer Ichi, I could probably understand his reasoning. But in this situation, it just feels. It feels loose. Like, it feels like you see the reach button, you panic and you go. It doesn't feel great, in other words, and on the bright side, he's unlikely to deal in here because everyone has been playing kind of around it. But this hand could have been so much more.
Osball is in Ishan 10. Will he be able to get into Tempai, though?
I feel like even if he manages the Tempai here, we're unlikely to see either the 2-man or the 8-pin come out.
But even, like, with these thin point margins, like, Ryukyoku money is worth a lot. And in fact, Smiles gets himself into Tempai at the very, very end. And this is, like, this is massive. Like,
yeah, of course.
Well, with what we've got right now, it is extremely large to go for it.
Osball not being able to make use of his dealership there to get something actually puts him in a really, not a bad spot, but it's a lot tighter of a spot than you'd want here. You're third place in South 3. That said, you're only 3,100 points behind first place. But if you want to make a move, you need to make it now, and then you need to extend that lead and not last to get your team points. Meanwhile, Visa pawn chi for Honetsu here.
I think an interesting point is something worth reminding in the rule set is that we are not playing with the 30,000 mandatory return.
Yeah.
So players can end the Hanchan on less than 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not even like the I guess you would say the safety blanket, I guess, of thinking, oh, I have all of these points. As in, someone has to be over 30k towards the end. Well, no, you can still end a Hanchan and be less than 30k and get that first place, which is extra juicy if you're if the gaps are so thin, because 40,000 points means all the more. Oz does get himself
Big
into Tenpai.
Tenpai here for Oswald.
Big Tenpai.
Like, this actually means a lot here. Reach Pinfu isn't typically what you call big.
If you get the Aka 5 margin.
Reach Sumo Pinfu Aka is, it's not big, but it's pretty standard here.
Yeah.
And 5,200, exactly in this situation, as I just mentioned, you want to make a move now, and then you want to make some kind of move in all last to extend your team's lead here.
Yeah.
This is big.
This is massive. And Oz does get the South Pawn, essentially fast forwarding the hand. Exactly, yeah.
His hand is also insanely shapely here. That 3-4-4-5-5 bamboo shape, and then the 4-4-5-6 pin shape is, just insane with his hand here.
Yeah.
So we're looking at South Dora. We're looking at, even just South nothing here. I don't think he cares. He just this game should be in the bag for him.
Yes. If everything goes according to normal, it should be. I think the interesting decision is actually Novisa's decision, because this 100-point gap is actually a 20,000 100-point gap. If he deals into 1,000, he deals 21,000 points.
Yeah.
So what's the pushing line? Do you push? Do you fold immediately and hope that the dealer can't push into the player to your right?
I mean, I'm the worst person to ask this because, I'm first place only. So I see that first place is only 5,000. What is this? 5,800 points ahead of me. I'm going for a 4 hand, and I'm going for it in any way I can. That said, though,
yep,
free reds rather in DC's hand actually makes me a little bit worried for anyone at the table here.
With that, is that Tenpai? I think it's Tenpai.
That's Tenpai with Dora 4-7 pin here.
Yeah. Oh, Daisuke, you're in. Hello, Daisuke.
Just in time.
Yeah. This Hanchan has been lightning fast for what it's worth. I think we've had a 9-handed Hanchan so far.
Dang.
Yeah. It was super tight point margins as well. Before in South 3, everyone was below 27,000 points or something to that degree. Ishanten 4 smiles. Now this is a death hand for smiles. This is an absolute grenade hand. I wonder if they will open, say, the 3-pin or the 3 so. Is that the correct card?
Or even the 6-pin or the 6-so.
Yeah. Will they go for that open Sanshoku? Try and cash in all of that juicy Dora?
Do you remember just a moment ago how I said this game should be in the bag for Oswald?
Yeah.
I'm actually questioning my words here now because, 1 or 2 good draws for DC here makes this entire situation very awkward. And we do see Ishanten now as well, and it's pretty bloody good Ishanten as well, honestly.
Yeah, headless Ishanten. Oh my gosh.
There's a head in there.
Uh-oh. Well, I think the interesting thing is that he's locked himself out of the open Sanshoku. I
think he can still get it, because even if he calls a 6-pin, he can drop the the 4-5-6 Sanshoku is still available at least.
Oh right, yep.
Ooh, I don't know about that pass there.
I think the 3, because 3-4-5 Sanshoku is not quite there, so.
You need Tenpai though.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. So we'll have to see how they react to the future draws. It's a very wide Tenpai. A heartbreaking draw for smiles would be that 5-pin.
That'd be a yikes draw.
That'd be
That'd be a solid I retire. Sure.
All right, I'm out of here.
Tenpai
Tenpai
here for
for
Visa.
no
No
visa.
visa. Are they gonna do it?
Are they
This
gonna?
is Tanyao Sanshoku
Yeet.
Ipeko.
Yes. Or
Has
they're
to
gonna go
discard Dora
Dorotanki.
here.
No, they don't choose to go
Oh.
Dorotanki.
Oh, I like it.
Shoving
like
in that
it.
3. So and Oz draws the 4. So that is the worst looking tile in this situation. Does
Days out.
choose to fully capitulate. Chi from oh my gosh. Chi
Oh.
from Smiles puts himself into 4-pin Tunky for
Uh-oh.
K10.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hold on a
Oh,
minute.
that's a
Safe.
good tile to
No,
draw.
Haku's fine here.
Safety.
Haku's fine.
Safe.
Safe.
Haku is fine.
And now we are going to South for 1. Oh my gosh, my heart's racing after that one.
That's I'm lost for words.
So, a very important point switch is that No Visa has gone from 2nd to 3rd place with that Rishi. If they can win the hand, they will go back up to 2nd place at least, and maybe even 1st place if their hand is big enough. Would there be an argument, say, to Dharma the hand previously to try not to give up those points, or you reckon the hand is too valuable, including the Richu?
If they do dominate and they went on like the 6-0, that doesn't actually give them, or for instance, if they did throw the door up, then that doesn't actually give them enough to get 1st place, does it? Unless they direct hit Ozball, or I guess if they get their Takame. But if the 6-0 comes out, they're very, very sad right there. Plus, yeah, 3-sided weights. Yeah, out of reach.
Gotta throw the
1st place
stick
is just
in,
so good. Like, just
Right.
like, yeah, I'll take this worth.
Yeah. So what do you think about these kinds of positions? So is everyone's goal sort of set in stone here? What do you reckon, Adaske?
Just to confirm, even if no one's over 30k, the game will stop right here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, it's kind of interesting. So last place right now, if they do get a Mongon Sumo, they're still a little bit out of 1st place, unless someone is nice enough to reach, and then last place could technically get 1st place with a Mongon Sumo, which would be kind of cool. For everyone else, yeah, just the 1st place is just so good, and unless they're in a situation where it's like, well, I have no choice but to take this hand to confirm like 2nd place, then I think they should probably be shooting for 1st place here.
So just go for speed, safety be damned, value almost always be damned, kind of for the 3 players.
Well, you don't even need like that much value. So for the dealer, they just gotta keep winning because Agari Yamenash. So even if they do win and get into 1st place, it's only a temporary thing. So they don't have much of a choice but to keep winning. 3rd place is an interesting situation. Right now they're down. What is that? Like 5,800. Plus you have 1,300 on the board. So even if they just get like reach sumo anything, that'll be enough to overtake Ozball. They could even just get like a, can they get that? Let's see, 5,000. Oh, not quite. Yeah. So, yeah.
Ozball was given an interesting option that he had the choice between going for a Tanyao or keeping the Haku pair. Does choose to keep the Haku pair, and it is pawned off, putting him into Tenpai for 2-5. So very, very, very good Tenpai. And that gives Oz the 1st place here.
And Oz was already like 1st place overall in the individual standings, wasn't he?
Yeah, this is solid padding for Ozball's lead at this point. So that ends our 1st Hanchan. Oz in 1st place, Smiles in 2nd place, Visa in 3rd place, and PP in last place. Can we get Oz onto the panel?
I'm working on it.
But yeah, that ended lightning fast. The other Hanchan still has to be going. There's no way. Yeah, that was super interesting because we got into the situation that we described last week where Totoro was talking about very thin point margins. And sort of like your comfortability with those thin point margins. So I think there were interesting decisions made along the board. with sort of like, do you take fast reaches or do you take yeah, you can either take
Wow.
fast reaches.
That-
Very
that is
low
a-
pointed Hanchan.
It's
Everything
like,
that.
haha, Tanya, Tanya. Yama Pinto, I guess. Tanya Dora. Huh.
Hello, Oz. Congrats on your win.
Yo, yeah.
Frankly,
call
you
it
know
that.
what? You know what? We're sick of having you here. This is the third time you've been
I mean,
here.
I'm surprised you asked me in here again. Like,
3 weeks, 3 appearances. Are you
Undisputed number 1.
Undisputed.
are
Alright.
you
So
the
much for
point
what happened in
getter
that
of this league?
we'll see. I mean, we're what, week 3 of 9?
Week 3 of 9 indeed.
But very
So-
impressive sort of like points and standings and sort of just like a baseline. Baseline? Is that the right word? This is not the right person. This is the right person. Sorry. It was just like a very nice sort of, comfortable progression through the hands. So going through maybe not like how you built this hand, because it sort of was very like, I want Pinfu, thin
Yeah.
point margins. But like, what was your mentality when you sort of like pick up a hand like this? Are you thinking like maybe the Itsu, like in with the early opens and with such thin points, were you trying to aim higher? Would you have tried to like shove your hand into that Itsu, or do you want fast? Do you want to cash in some points so that when you get to South 4, you don't need to work as hard?
Honestly, at this point, just there'd been so little points changed that I was almost more worried about dealing in than, winning a big hand. So keeping closed with as many options as possible. I mean, here East is generally going to be a safe-ish tile. I mean, obviously it's still the dealer's wind, but having that as a pair lets me go for Pinfu if I want it, or if later I can throw it if there's been 1 or 2 thrown. So yeah, and this one it was just like, just play it safe, and Mentam Pin is the holiest, or whatever the term is.
Was there any consideration into perhaps cutting the 1 pin here, keeping your Itsu and Sanchoku chances alive, or did you want to go for straight line efficiency here? Keep your
I think I
issue.
just went straight efficiency at this point. Like at this point, any kind of points is worth a lot. So yeah, it's a case of trying to just Pinfu. Sorry, reach Pinfu would be a lot in this point. Reach Pinfu Tsumo would completely turn the game on its head at that point. So
Yep.
Better to go for the win with a few number of Yaku rather than try and stack the higher scores at this point.
Yep, and sort of we could see it worked very, very well in your favor
Yeah.
with the draw and then the Aka 5 Mansimo 2 turns later.
Yeah, the Aka 5 was nice, but
Yeah. Was there any moments in this Hanchan you felt were like very pivotal? Like you sort of like I know that for this one you face a very, very, very late Reachy. Where is it?
Screw that reach, and he would have dealt in
Right.
if I held the course.
Right here, and you draw a very scary looking Forcer.
Yeah. But I mean, this goes back to the same mentality: is that the points are so close, it's not worth risking it at this point. Like, yeah, it'd be nice, but not against that discard pool,
Right.
and especially not on the Ipatsu.
Yeah. Okay. Was there any consideration on the 4 pin, or do you think, nah, let's just not mess around, just cut 3, sir. Just let's not.
Not at this point. Like, it's a case of just fold
Fold
at this point,
Okay.
or at least as fold as possible. Like, obviously, I ended up in Tenpai anyway, but yeah, at this point, Ipatsu, Dora's safe. I have 2 Dora. If anything, if he deals in someone else, I'm still in a good position. Unless he gets more than 5/8, I think.
Yeah.
I'm still in first, so it's not worth pushing. Actually, I think 5/8 means he would be in first because of the reach stick, but still.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Good play
you.
as always, Osborne. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
Do we really though? He's already been here 3 weeks, man.
Well,
at
I
this
mean,
rate-
you got to issue that challenge to the other players at that point. It's on the other players to take him down and stop him from getting an interview, right?
I think at this rate, I'm going to end up having my own analogy from SBT.
That's how you know you've made it though, right?
It's getting to that point.
Alright. Well, I think the
But
Lava
yeah.
Hanchan is still going, so we might check in with that one.
Yeah, that was a really fast and low scoring Hanchan.
Yeah, very low scoring. Thank you again so much for joining us, and
No worries.
best of luck. If you are you
Yep.
playing again today, or is it just next week?
No.
Yeah,
Just next
best.
week. We've only got one more, and Lao is playing it
Yeah.
next game.
Best of luck
So.
next week then.
Yeah, so
Can't win
thank you guys.
twice in 1 week. That's just like too much.
Yeah, no, I try and limit myself to just one, just to keep it fair.
Otherwise, they know you're cheating. I mean, what?
Exactly.
Wait, what? What?
Exactly.
No. Wait, check the wins. Was his wall right in front of him when he was drawing? All right, thank you again. I think we're gonna check into the
No
other
worries.
Hanchan because we got time.
Yeah, it's probably still going.
Oh wow, it's South
Well,
One.
South one. Yeah, they've had repeats. So anyway, good luck, guys.
Alright, bye. Alrighty, we're checking in here. So I've forgotten all of the names because everyone now has a kanji name.
Everyone has a kanji name.
Shall I go through it?
Yes, please tell me who they are.
All right. So currently in the East Seat, and this is actually good because this would have been the initial seeding. In the East Seat, we've got Saber. South Seat, we have Akarin. West Seat, Enhombre, and North Seat, Muginra. Now, this looks a lot different. From the other game.
Yikes! Tanpin San Shokudora. Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah, so Tanpin Sanshokidora for Saber here. Folding, maybe? Hopefully folding from Muginra. And
Brave Pinfu. Reach Pinfu. Reach Pinfu.
is it just
from
Reach
Enhombre.
Pinfu?
Yeah, that is just the Reach Pinfu.
Oh.
Tenpai on the right here for Akarin. I can't cut.
Oh, the last
I guess
Luckily, it's,
unfortunately
Yasume.
not a Tumon, I guess.
I mean, it's the Yasume, but this is still sizable.
Yeah, 12,000 points. A healthy chunk out of Enhombre's stack here.
That's more than a healthy chunk, mate. That's like that's everything.
That's everything.
Well, you still got a dealership left, so you you can't count them out.
Yeah, so not quite everything just yet.
And Shiai is, you said Saber?
Yes.
Okay, so they're ranked number 2 overall right now. Wow.
Maybe someone's challenging Osbald's throne.
That's gonna be hard since he just got another first.
Yeah.
Even like before this game, or before today, he was like already 1 first over 2nd and 3rd place, and now he's got another one on top of that. I mean,
Well, if you just spin your infinite Renchan right now, then you can catch up very quickly. Maybe we'll have that touted over 100k bounty.
We should probably, probably mention that even though this is South 1, there's free Honda here. So like the hands I'd start like if Saber can keep winning here, these hands are just going to start adding up because that extra 900, 1200, 1500 points adds up here, especially when he's chasing first place.
I mean, especially if you see how greedy I get for just 1 stick in the middle. You gotta
I
add
mean...
gotta add that 4 Humber.
4 Honda.
Yes. So we got a very, very pretty looking hand from Saber here. It's still, I say still 2 Shanten. It's a very pretty 2 Shanten. It could even be Sanshoku if it draws very correctly.
the backfire.
Definitely stings, and he seems to be, I wouldn't say backtracking, but opening up the acceptance here. If the 7-so wants to come back home, there's a place for it. Not anymore, there isn't.
Not anymore.
You've been replaced.
Yeah.
Friendship ended with 7-so.
Friendship ended with 7-so.
Royalteen is now my best friend.
Well, if 7-so does come back, you can switch up and get Sanshoku right there.
That is, yeah, true. No, maybe not
Friendship not ended with...
I'm sorry, come back.
Baby, come back.
You can blame it all on me.
So we have 3 Dora on our left here, but he will need, Muginra will need to get that pay pair unless they're willing to cut the pay pair, and would have to draw either another 7-mon or a 7-pin, or get really funky with like an 6-pin or something to that degree. So it's a very, very nice hand, but it does sort of lean heavily on that North Wind.
Hmm.
Friendship ended with Tanya Sanshoku. New friend is hopefully Itsu.
You gotta make new
Unfortunate.
you gotta make new friends all the time. Like,
Dora
look,
discard. Do we take the pawn here for Meginra?
I think so.
I think he's thinking about it.
he
He
think
does
so.
take the
And-
pawn. So
and then you have- Yeah,
pay here is fine.
No. You keep
You're even
pay and you
7-pin.
drop something. Oh, that's actually bad.
Wait, 7-pin's. Wait, where's his head now?
Yeah, that's the that's the problem. 'Cause now it's like, well, if you do call pay, then that's great, and then you have that other head to fall back on. But by dropping pay right here, yeah, we have no Yaku.
So what would be your preferred line there? Do you go 4-5-mon because your 3 of the 7-mons are out, or do you maybe ESO and try to go towards a Tanyao line?
At that point, most likely either the 4 or 5 pin or the 4 or 5 mon. You already have 3 Dora, and so even if you do keep that red Dora, this is Kiriage Mangan, so it doesn't actually matter if you have that red 5 or not, because you already have 3 Dora and plus 1 Yaku. So you can throw either, so most likely you'll just look to see which one is more likely for you to get, and then throw the other one.
boys, we forgot the fact that you can just draw the 3-so as your other head and collect the flow from the 3-so.
I mean,
Hello. Now
So,
the real flow is figuring out where is that north, and hopefully it's not in the dead wall.
Yeah. We're getting to that, what, more than 50% of the time your weight's dead?
no, it's in the high tail drawer, man. Does he have the high tail drawer here? Suso.
Interesting no call from the dealer right there.
Yeah, I guess maybe not keen to chase it. Keeps himself a 2
Khan?
Shanten, unfortunately.
Khan,
Khan?
that would raise their hand up to a Hanemon.
Khan.
Surely, Khan!
Oh,
Khan!
Yeah, it
a
doesn't
4-pin. Very interesting draw.
Is this Tenpai yet?
No.
Are we Tenpai yet?
No. They look like they're folding
Yeah,
right now.
they seem to be folding at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They're
these
like,
are
well, they call the Khan. They called the Dora. I'm not touching that. Goodbye.
They could just get back into Tenpai. Oh, never mind.
Hey.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I mean, you weren't wrong. It is the high taste tile. So we see Lone Tenpai for Meginra, 1,000 points from all, sending us to South 2. So with Saber's hand there, you saw that they decided to take the direction of just folding out to the Dora Khan at that point. Do you reckon that hand had enough value to push forward, or you reckon it gets into mostly just like a Tenpai, so it's not worth chasing after?
Well, even before the Khan, as soon as they pwned, Saber was already breaking up the 5-so and folding to the to that pwn right there. So
Right.
the difference between second and third right now is pretty big, and so they're like, yeah, I don't have, 3 Dora like them. Still like 2 Shanten away. Not touching that. Back off.
Yep.
Which is generally a pretty good idea when you see a Dora pwn like that, especially when the point situation is like, even if they do Tsumo, they're still in third. But if you deal into Tsumo right there, that hurts a lot. Or even just like for them winning that hand, it still hurts a lot. So backing off right there is pretty acceptable, I think.
But isn't it the argument of the hand is pretty big? Because if I recall, the hand was like Tanpin, Ipeiko, Aka, right? Sorry.
Yeah,
not
but at
Tanpin,
that
yeah.
point, it was still like around like past the 12th turn, and
yeah.
they were still 2 Shansen. So
Yeah.
the chances of them getting into Tenpai is already really low, and then the chances of them getting into Tenpai and then winning the hand is also really, really low.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just like, yeah, back off. Like,
Yeah.
once you hit the end of once you hit that third row, like, this is the time the dreams are dead. You just gotta like accept your reality and be like, okay, I'm probably not going to get my 2 shots in hand into Tenpai, so I probably shouldn't push this hand because there's a pawn of the Dora.
Yes, fair enough. Sort of like this, I don't know if theory is the right word, but the sort of stance of like the first row is the early game, second row is the mid game, third row is the end game, and when you're at the end game, you don't mess around with two Shanten kind of mentality, right?
Yeah, one book I read kind of poses like, the first row is like, you're young, you're adventurous, you can go and be anything you want. The second row is like, well, you're like middle age, you gotta like tone down on your dreams a little, kind of like chase what you can get, still kind of going for it some. And then once you get into that last row, it's like, well, this is your lot in life. I think you just accept it.
So second row is kind of like how you're in your midlife crisis. You want to get retrained in something, but you're just a little bit too old for any company to take you.
Pretty much.
Wait, so what does that make a first row Ricci then? Just being born under the wrong star?
That is just
with
like born with like a golden like spoon in your mouth. You're just like, oh, I was just born to reach. I'm just, like, yes, I am a child prodigy right here.
you know what it's like. It's like those young kids who are born prodigies at like instruments. That's what the first row reach is.
Oh, Tenpai here for Saber is facing down a 3-call Hanetsu. Does not choose to Ricci his 5.
Well, they are footy thin right there, so that's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, okay,
one of the
that makes a lot
reasons.
more sense, yeah. So in Tenpai for oh my god!
This is why you.
Okay, so Pinfu, Sumo, Dora, Aka. So 1,300, 2,600. Nice set of money for Saber here. Does put them into first place as well. Moving us to South 3 and Hombre's dealership. He's going to have to do something because
Hombre's last chance.
this is a bit of a yikes situation at this point.
Saber's hand also looks pretty fast with that tune pulling right there.
Let's see. You reckon there's probably no inkling for Saber to go for a Greed Hanetsu at this point, right? A Bakuhan, I guess. Probably just go fast with the 2-3 pin.
Yeah, probably not, because they already have like that red 5, they can use it. And so technically they could get some value from that, but most likely right here you care about the win more than you do like that extra 1,000 points. Because whether you get 1,000 or 2,000 points right here, the difference between you and second place isn't going to be that much of a difference. But if someone, specifically second place, wins a hand right here, that's very, very, very big. Or if like the dealer catches you when you're open and have no safe tiles with a reach, that would also be bad. So most likely, if they do get to Tenpai, and they have a choice between, let's say, taking the 2,000 Kanchan or taking the 1,000 Ryanmin, they would probably throw the 5-pin, I would think, hopefully.
I wonder what the argument was for even cutting the 5-pin in that situation. Committing to that 1,000 and maybe going a little bit faster on the 7-so acceptance.
Yeah, but you see, you wouldn't be Tenpai with the 5-pin here. Tenpai is 6-8 bamboo.
It was kind of interesting afterwards as well, because you saw 3 of the 1-pins come out, and so at that point, keeping the 2-3 pin is only actually a one tile improvement. But if you do keep the 5-pin and you draw the 6-pin, then you get like a 4-tile improvement. So you could argue like, oh, maybe this is actually a little bit faster over the long run.
And it's sort of like a is that like a decision based on the amount of turns you have left? So sort of like, as your analogy was before, when you're a youngster with dreams, and when you're a spry middle-aged man.
Yeah, a lot of that is having to do with like how many, or not necessarily how many turns you have left, but how many turns you think you have left based off the speed of your other opponents.
Yeah.
So let's say if like someone's in reach, it's like how many turns do you have left, versus if someone's not in reach. That's like a really big difference, right? It could be both like the 7th turn, but one of those is, I guess, like a lot faster. It's going to end more quickly than the other one.
Yep. Oh, it does get the last 6-so from the wall, just as Enhombre gets into Ishan 10 for Chun Aka, sending us to South 4. Enhombre is not in a nice position here. It's very hard to see how he gets out of 4th place.
Westland right now. So many Gora.
Sumo doesn't even get him there.
Let's not say such heartbreaking things on stream.
I know, like, I'm a first place only player, but that I don't see a way to get first place here.
Yakuman
So
direct
I
hit
curl into a
doesn't
ball
do it.
and disappear.
We don't even play.
You just get a double Yakumatsu though.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I haven't prepared my lines enough. You're right.
Alright, so Goals are pretty clear, wouldn't you guys say? Akarin here probably wants to go for a 3,900 point hand, 3,900 plus. So probably cash in the 2 Dora and go for some like Yaku Dora Dora, or even Reach Dora Dora. Dealer just wants to win with no real anxiety about last place, and first place probably wants to win because they would like to end the Hanchan in first place. Sorry, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Typically speaking.
Yes.
Pretty clear-cut goals here. The only weird one right here is, I guess, Hombre. Like, well, what do I take?
Would you say in this position it's almost so hopeless you go for highest expected value?
Most probably.
So yeah, it loops around from being a question about greed.
Ooh.
Oh, never mind. Oh.
No.
Oh,
no,
wait.
you go 3/4 Bambi and go for the Menhon so you stabilize your bleeding.
Menhon direct hit on third place to go for Menhon Yaku Yaku. Oh, you need one more Yaku.
Nice draw from Saber.
Yeah.
Pin
for Ishan, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Dharma, like a Dharma is massive. Is that Tenpai?
1 Shanten for West right now as well.
We'll have to get up the Menhon if he chooses to keep the 1 Shanten. Doesn't want it. Doesn't want it. Not enough value.
Ooh. Good draw for, how do you say his name? Ginra as well.
Yeah. Everyone's hands are going at a nice pace here.
Oh, and an amazing draw for West.
Awesome.
They were able to keep that extra red Dora and also again to keep a nice 1 Shanten, improve to double side weights. And Tenpai for Saber. Now, they could just Dharma right here, which looks like what they're going to do. Draws that one, so I do not see that not coming out, unless they drop the 2 pin right now.
Yeah. Pin Funami, the silent Tenpai hand is the deadliest, ending the Hanchan with, I keep forgetting, Saber in first place, hot on the heels of Ozball. You know, you got to make him sweat for his first place in the leaderboard. So we have Saber in first place, Akarin in second, Muginra in third, and Enhombre in last place. Do we have SPT have the other games fired? Do we have much dead time?
So funny thing about this, right? Hey, in the YouTube chat, HTST9, X to finish off the name while I'm there, has asked, did you guys prepare anything to fill the gap between this Hanchan and the next one in response to that last Mega Speed Hanchan? Now, my response was, don't worry, we've got the interview and the other game, but I've got nothing now.
We have, what, we have 10 minutes before the next Hanchan?
So the next Hanchan fires in 6 minutes. However, due to the Tenho delay, of course, we're not due in for another 11 minutes. I haven't prepared anything for an 11-minute gap.
I have also not prepared anything. I really didn't expect all the content to be gone so quickly.
Yes.
Guess you can do mahjong drills for 15 minutes.
Mahjong drills for 15 minutes. So,
shall we try to pull Saber in for an interview, maybe?
We've already seen half the Hanchan, but we could.
Do we have the log? Getting the log might be easy.
Wait. How about we get to know Dasuke's past? Because Dasuke is an 8-dan in Tenho. Talk about like how you started, you know, get to know our guest commentator here.
Sure.
If you don't mind, obviously.
Alright, so let's see. I was born in a small town in the countryside of Texas. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I first learned mahjong about almost 10 years ago now. Back in the University of Texas, there was like a random like mahjong club there that did Chinese mahjong, and just kind of like not even like scoring or anything, just pon pon chi, haha, I won a hand mahjong. After that, I learned Japanese mahjong from some random like exchange student there, and started playing on Tenho a lot. Got involved into the online community. Started traveling around. Spent a year abroad in Japan, mostly just going and doing Janso stuff at mahjong parlors and all that.
What rates did you play? like mostly in that journey?
Um,
Like, what was your comfortableness of gambling, I suppose?
so I started off just doing like no rate, and then moved on to doing like Tengo and Tenpin.
Mm.
Back then I was mostly playing at Zoo, and they had some pretty like kind rates for like their Tenpin because like the Shugi wasn't that high.
Mm.
So it's basically like, oh, I can like get positive on Tenho, I get positive on this. So yeah, and then after that, I just decided to go around, try some interesting places. So I would like travel around and go to like a new Jonzo every day, which is kind of interesting because you find a lot of different places with different rule sets.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of fun. After that, I came back to the U.S. I got a job through a Mahjong contact in
Oh.
California. Stayed there for about like what was it, like 3 years or so, playing with the Pacific Mahjong League, and yeah, now I'm living in Japan, doing mahjong stuff and all that. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so it's sort of yeah. I think that story, like how it started, is very similar to how for me because it just sort of like started with Chinese, do the four calls, just win your hand, and you're like, haha, I won the round, and then you sort of just join a club, and then eventually get introduced to the Japanese mahjong, and then you get really addicted.
Yeah, it's like a nice progression, especially like that. Whenever you're starting off in like a new game like Mahjong, like a
Mm.
lot of us, like we see that like pon pon chi, haha tsumo. We're like, oh, okay, that's cute, but it's boring. But for new people, it's great. It's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And once you slowly get like kind of boardish of that, you just like add on scoring, and then you can add on rules, and then that's when the higher and higher you go, stuff like Japanese Mahjong, which has like a lot of different aspects of the games, becomes really
Mm.
interesting because it's like, oh wow, it's complicated, but like in a cool way, because no matter like how much you study, there's always like new stuff to learn.
As a Tenho 8 fan, you've obviously, you've climbed the ladder. A little bit more to go, but you definitely, would be able to say, have climbed the ladder. What piece of advice would you give to maybe like newer players or even intermediate players who are wanting to climb that ladder themselves? What is like the most important thing they should keep in mind?
Mm, it's an interesting one. I guess it depends on who you talk to. For lack of better words, Dawn, R, Rate don't really exist, if that makes sense. Or they're not the things that you should be focused on.
Mm.
So like if you have like are climbing like a really big like mountain, and this is like the mountain of Tenhu. This is like the higher you go, the higher your skill is. How high you are on that mountain is not actually reflected exactly in your R or your Dawn or your rate, because that's more of like a shadow. Like it can change based off like the time of the day. It can change based off like a lot of different stuff. Even for like bots, if you go and look at like Super Phoenix or Nada, all these different bots that are playing on Tenho, they play like tens of thousands of games, and it's not like a bot can't go on tilt. A bot can't like, oh, I'm having a bad day today, or that. They just like they're playing with like the same algorithm. And even then, if you look at these bots, there are going between like a huge range of dawns. They'll be jumping between like 4 dawn up to like 7 dawn or 8 dawn and back down to 4 dawn. And people are the exact same. So what you're looking at in each individual game is not necessarily like, oh, I got it first, or oh, I got it last. But instead, just like look for something to get better at. Like, oh, look, I missed like this thing right here. How did I miss this thing? Oh, because I wasn't paying attention to X. And you pick up on all of these like little mistakes, small mistakes that you make. You go and try to figure out like, why did I make these mistakes, and what is the piece of information that I need to not make these mistakes, and you just keep building on that and building on that. Like whenever you go into a game, I know a lot of people have what's the word, like not regret, but like you make an obvious mistake and you're like, oh wow, you're such a dumbass, me. Why did you do that? Like of course you should take the ramen. Are you stupid? And you kind of beat up on yourself for making a mistake. I know like Shori's been doing that a lot lately. But whenever you have a mistake, like no, don't get mad at yourself. Like you are not gonna play any mahjong game in your life where you're not going to make a mistake.
Mm.
Like straight up. And so whenever you find a mistake, that's not like a bad thing. That's a great thing because only by finding those mistakes, looking at them, and figuring out why you made them that's how you get better.
I think that's a very a very consistent thing I hear when I talk to a lot of Ho players is that a lot of them seem to have forgotten their rank is not quite the right term. They sort of it's like as you say, it's a shadow. It's like, oh, you know, what I have will float between this and this. It's just more about, you know, how I play in the moment. So I think that's some really good advice, especially because it if you can think about Mahjong in terms of your decisions rather than the results, it almost tries to alleviate the tilt in some sense. If you feel like you can just say, well, you know, I'm just going to focus on my decisions and say, okay, well, you know, the results be damned. Like, yes, it happened this way. Yes, you know, if they hadn't diamond conned, I would have simoed my tile or something like that. But you can sort of look at it and be like, well, you know, I made this, I did this, I could have improved on this, but that's all right because this is a marathon. I'm not, you know, I don't need to get better in a year to save the earth or anything like that. I can just
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whenever you can get to the point where it's like your happiness in a game is not tied to like whether you get first or whether you're, you know, or you're gonna be sad if you get a fourth, but instead just like what you learn. That's like a really good cycle to get in because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Um, the more happy you are to like, you know, like get in and find new stuff and get better at the game, the better you're gonna get at the game, and the better that you get at the game, the more like, you know, first places and like higher Dawn and higher R you're gonna get. But if you focus on that Dawn and on that R, it's gonna go up and down, and so is your happiness. It's just gonna be like, oh, cool, I'm going up. Oh no, I lost 800 points. Maybe I should just not play Tenno anymore. So,
especially with like Tenho streaking as well. Like Tenho's a brutal fourth system, so the happiness from firsts won't necessarily cancel out the streaks that you could get from fourth places, unfortunately.
definitely.
Yeah. So I think I really like that. I'm trying to keep that more in mind as of recent because I've been beating on myself a bit, but then trying to be like, well, you know, I'm just going to pick up on these things. I'm going to learn a bit more. You know, there are a lot of good English resources for it. So, SPT, are we allowed to link things in these streams?
Um.
I think so. They're not going to be bad. All right.
I wasn't prepared.
I'll go look for
I
it.
didn't prepare these resources ahead of time.
No. I was gonna say, you know, there's stuff like RB1, there's stuff like Ozzy's blog, which has a lot of really nice intermediate things like discard readings. You got like a bunch of slides, you got a whole bunch of discords, you know, ARMA Discord, not shameless plugging or anything like that. But yeah, no, sort of, yeah. Thank you for that. That was very good in terms of sort of trying to remind ourselves what the correct mentality is when you're sort of moving forward.
And almost just in time for the game.
Perfectly timed. All right, wait, are both games going through okay? SBT?
So it's either game 2 or game 1. Game B, I think it is actually. One player is currently running late, so they may attract a penalty depending on how soon they arrive at the computer here.
Yeah.
However, one of the other games has successfully fired
Yes,
here.
so I guess that decides the game that we're watching then. As I would not like to wait for the other one. We have a
Definitely.
remarkably high amount of late entries into a league set at a consistent time.
As
That's
I've
done
mentioned
online.
so far, I am personally very disappointed. However, I do understand that sometimes life does get in the way and Mahjong cannot be prioritized.
But you are still disappointed. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm always disappointed. It's just the varying amounts of disappointment.
All right. We have our start. We have McRitchie in the east seat, IOSK in the south seat, Miku 39 in the west seat, and Adler in the north seat. Adler is also cheese to go if I think 'cause that's the name they
Yep,
refer
that
to
is
themselves
correct.
on March Soul. Very, very annoying at sometimes because everyone is sometimes uses wildly inconsistent names. Although I will say that's also what happens with me, so I can't complain too much about it. Early Chunpon from Adler seems to be going for a. Is there a name for this? A Senten shutdown? The
Senten, Kawashite.
Kawashite.
So it's like a wash away hand.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Just sort of, you know what, you're not allowed your dealership. I want things to move on, and I just want that little extra bank. Nice
It's
6
like,
draw
oh, cool manga in there, bro. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
though. So would you say that there is an maybe art is a very bad way of saying it, but there is a philosophy behind building smaller, faster hands to shut down potentially larger hands?
Definitely, and I think the higher you go, the more value you can get out of them. So especially in Ho-Oh, like the value of Kwashite is really big, because being able to like skillfully shut down like a lot of big hands is like a very very useful tactic. In If we're talking about in Tenho's terms, in Tokujo, you don't usually see them. Well, you do see them a lot, but I guess you don't appreciate them as much. Mostly because in Tokujo, one of the big ways that you move up is by abusing people, not pushing when they should. So it's just like, oh, I have like this, great Richi right here, and someone's like, but I have Tanyao with my open hand. Of course I'm pushing you, and then they deal into a Mongon, and you're like, okay, this is great. But once you get to Ho-Oh, you can usually expect that people are going to be pushing the hands that they should be pushing and not pushing the ones that they're not. And so being able to like shut down hands before they can like turn into something in that situation is really good.
Mm. Yep, that makes sense. I think that was something people were bringing up in that, like, her Tokujo can have a sense of passiveness associated with it, whereas her is very active and fast and, like, nothing is free mentality.
Oh, IOSK might deal in here.
Yes, so we do see Tenpai for Adler, 6-9 pin. IOSK does unfortunately have the isolated 6 pin, so short of a. Oh, okay, never mind.
It's over.
Doom.
Oh, what's that?
Take the poison.
So it deals into Trundora, 2,000 points. Nothing massive, but like, a nice, Adler's not going to turn it down, and you don't exactly feel happy about dealing into that one either. So
McReach, 3 Dora starting off.
yeah, very.
And a pretty clear path to Tanyao or Pinfu.
Yeah. Wonder. Okay, so if they draw the 8, so they, I guess they've still got a lot of turns left. They still need to get rid of their honors and decide later, I suppose.
Even if they draw the 8s though, that's perfectly okay, because even if they have to get rid of the red 5 later, they can still get like, Richu, Pinfu, Tudora. They just got that nice 5-star right there, so they can keep it anyway. Plus, because you have like the shapes that you have in that hand, especially that 2, 3, 4, 5 Manzu, it's just great.
Nice.
Like their hand is just absurdly fast.
Yeah, nice 6-0 draw. This is as you say, a very fast and very expensive hand at the same time, and not many hands can boast that kind of flexibility. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, IOSK can shut them down here though if they get a lucky draw right here. Ooh, this is an interesting choice.
Tanyao Chun seems to be lucky in the Chun. Maybe keeping Swanko chance alive / Chitoy.
Yeah, and Chitoy as well. So see, this is an example right here where like pointing the Chun and being like, oh, I don't see any Dora. Maybe I should shut down this hand. Can be really really good. But they got draw for Chitoy.
Doesn't elect to wait for any Dora or Akka. Just wants to be the first Richi in, or the Sensei Richi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. McRichi does get into Tenpai for waiting for the 3/6 mon for Tanyao Dora 3. So bit of a scary one.
And there is a Tamahane here, right?
Yes, there is a Tamahane. So if either Miku 39 or Adler cut the 6-mon, the win will go to McRitchie instead of IOSK. And he does sumo the 6-mon! Shut
Last one in the wall
down.
too.
Last 6-mon on the
Two
wall.
for the honeymoon.
Nah.
No
But you'll
shortcuts
take
for
that. You'll
Hanuman
take
here.
that. 3. Reached sumo Chi Toy 3,200 all, and more importantly, McRitchie doesn't get their hand. Pushing us to east to 1 Humper. McRitchie here with a very fast looking hand, 2 Realmans, a completed meld, and a pair of Yakuhai, and an offsuit pair. So very simplified Tushanten at the time, and now Ishanten. What else do we have if we look around? Doesn't choose to keep the 7, so just in case of a pin for Ipeco, maybe doesn't value that and sees the general direction of their hand.
Miku's hands also looks pretty nice with the confirmed Ipeco as well.
Mm.
Do you reckon the 4-mon comes out before the 8-mon? In terms of confirming the Ipeco and keeping the Dora neighbor?
Maybe. Yeah, we can't see like a 1-2-mon out. We can see. Yeah, probably the 4-mon, I guess. It's kind of hard right there.
We do
yeah.
have a Ricci from McRitchie, which will make the cutting the 4-mon and cutting the 8-mon. Oh, sorry, not cutting the 8-mon harder. Cutting the 8-mon more tempting because it is Genbutsu. IOSK does immediately draw the Hatsu after and doesn't deal into the Ipats, fortunately. Does choose to fold. Oh, sorry, not fold. Cut the 1-so. However, the Hatsu may come out here. Or will they big brain on the
Nakatsuji.
Hatsu?
Oh, no.
Man, how good would a Ricci Hatsu Tanki and you sumo it the next turn be?
Hatsu isn't that bad though, because even though it is like Shonpai, it is an honor, so it's not super bad to push. Plus, they're waiting on the 5-mon Tanki right there, which was a Nakatsuji for the Ricci.
Yeah, it's just one of those deal-ins that happens. You can't really guess it. It's just fun looking from this position to guess maybe if they can read into the tiles super like they have X-ray goggles or not. Another very fast hand for McRitchie. Some nice loose mid tiles and 2 confirmed melds already. It's kind of lacking in value for now, but we'll have to see what happens with Aka 5s. You know, any smaller looking hand can get pretty big pretty quickly.
Honestly, like looking at this board, I don't really like anyone's hands. They're all just so.
Blah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so McRitchie is okay. Never mind. He just didn't draw anything for 4 turns. It was more often than not faster than it is right now. But yeah, it is very cheap, which is not great. Everyone else seems to have just.
Base is not that bad now. Technically, 2 Shanten from. Technically, Pinfu maybe, maybe Rion Peiko, or not Rion Peiko, maybe Ipeiko could upgrade to Tanyao.
I guess there's a Chi toy line in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just gotta squint.
If you squint your eyes at it, it could be a Tanyao toy. If you squint really hard.
My eyes aren't that bad, Jay.
Miku's hand would be amazing if they just drew like another Dora, pull that for double tone Dora 3, easy.
Yeah.
Technically, there's still 3 in the wall, so not that unlikely.
Oh, McRitchie is ESP. Oh man, there are too many different names in this. Alright, yes, thank you, Shuichi, as well, for telling us. Oh, god, this is just one of those everyone's hands is in slurry kind of thing. Does pawn on the 8-so for IOSK, putting them into Ishanten for Tanyao.
Looking to shut down, and they'll take Tenpai.
7-pin 5-so for Tanyao Nomi. Do you call it a Takame if he gets the Aka 5-so? Technically a Takame, right?
Yep.
Would you be worried that there's no East yet, or like, is the reason that there's no East yet the reason you go for this 10-yao hand to kind of just try to shut out the hand?
It kind of depends. East is really hard to use, and so yeah, it's either like, oh, it could be in the wall, maybe it could be stuck in every single person's hand. They have like one of each. In the worst case scenario, someone could have like a pair, or they could even have like a 3 of a kind Anko. But if you see that, they're more likely to be like calling some tiles.
Mm.
Other people that don't see Dora might be looking at that hand and be like, "Oh God, does IOSK have the does he have the East? Because they can't see any, aside from Miku, who only can see one."
Mm.
See a weight
Switching
switch.
out his weight.
Hmm.
What do you feel about this switch out? Would you rather have taken the Shanpon here, or do you feel like because he's already pawned the 8-pin, the 8-pin might actually look a little bit more enticing here?
Kind of hard to say. They're both pretty equivalent with that 8-pin pawn right there. The
Nah,
5 is actually kind of nice because you can improve on that, but because you have like that 1 so, even if you draw like a 6 so, you can't really. Or I guess yeah, you could take it. You would just drop the 2 so, but they already dropped the 7s, or actually no, they drew the 7 so afterwards. So yeah, I can see either or.
Tenpai here for ESP, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the washout hand does watch out that Tanyao Ipeiko.
washing out his dreams.
Yes, exactly. Moving us along to East 4. Oh my gosh. McCready's hands just look so... They don't always look the most valuable, but they always look very pretty.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those hands where you look and it's just like, I like this hand, and then you look at it again and
Maybe
oh
not.
wait,
As much as I thought.
there's no value in here.
Oh,
Well, I mean, they can get the Dora and the Dora.
The Dora? The Chitoi? Chitoi is a
Oh, I
shortcut to
mean-
Hanuman.
Chitoi.
Maybe
I mean, Jutoi shortcut to Hanuman TM only if
Tanyao Ryangpeiko?
that's
If you squint
technically
really
also
hard.
a line here.
I guess you have to be squinting pretty hard for it. I'm sorry.
Oh, East died out.
Suwanko?
Suwanko?
I mean, every draw has made this hand more and more valuable. Potentially.
It's kind of what you want. Now we do see double Dora in Miki's hand, just across the table here with decent, yeah, decent shapes as well. Look, little bit of awkwardness here and there, but there is
A little bit of awkwardness.
Yeah.
there's shape.
So, that is a hand that could have 10 turns, and on average, it would not be in Tenpai.
Let's not talk about average statistics here. We only believe in dreams here.
So
do you take this?
Mikurichi.
So you can 6-pin here for a Sun Uncle chance. However, you should style.
Doesn't go for the styling. Does
It wasn't
decide.
actually that bad because the 6-pin was actually the last 6-pin was in IOSK's hand and probably not coming out.
Yeah, definitely. So we do see Tenpai here. 9-man 2-pin. Only 2-pin available here unless the 9-pin somehow comes out of IOSK's hand here.
McRichi living up to his name of McRichi. You got a McRichi. Second Dora draw for Adler. She chooses to cut the 2-man, not risking the free turn, I believe, on the 2-3-man, and so keeping the 3-man, 6-man isolated. She's definitely sorry, I shouldn't say that word. Pushing in without regard to safety. One, for a lack of safety tiles.
All out offense.
Yeah. And 2, because the hand is quite big. It is a dealer gun already if she can get it off.
Now the 6-mon right here might help McRichi a lot because that 9-mon could technically come out from IOSK's hand, depending on what they draw later.
Oh, 2-pin. IOSK is playing Weight Collector. Chi from Miku39. Let's cut the one so. It's going to go Atozuke for the Green Dragon and go Hatsudoradora. Oh, sorry, Hatsudora-san for another Mangan. 2 8-pins cut from Adler's hand. Still 2 Shanten? Am I counting that wrong?
For
No,
Adler?
I think you're right.
Yeah,
No,
still
two Shanten.
quite awkward. Oh, 6 so
Khan.
Khan.
Oh.
Now, kind of interesting. Miku passed up the Chi for Tenpai. They didn't want to drop that 3, so it seems.
Never drop 3 so.
And
No,
the Naimon
as
does
you
come out.
see it, Naimon does come out. So reach.
Just in time for that con.
Urasan!
Urasan!
Reach
Urasan!
Urasan. That'll clear the nasal passages, giving the Mangan to
3
Mikrichi.
different opportunities for Urasan. Urasan
Oh,
is
this hand is
down.
gross.
Oh my gosh.
Starting off 3 completed Mensu and 2 Dora. Like,
This is a Tanpin Sanshoku if I've ever seen one. I don't care how much you hate Sanshoku. This is very nice looking Tanpin Sanshoku.
Sanshoku, you have 2 Dora. Get out of here. Sanshoku doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta go for the Baimon. Men Tanpin
Dealership
Sumo
as
Sanshoku.
well here.
Yes. This is a very nice hand. Can't imagine anything other than speed in this scenario.
He's got his head now as well.
Everyone else's hands just looks very unfortunate. All of their luck has been siphoned
The
into
Aka
Reach.
5-mon!
Yeah. Now, here's
Oh,
a fun question. If you draw the 4 7-mon, do you Richi, discarding that 5-so, waiting on that delicious 8-so Tanki? Or even drop the 5-so right here, waiting on either the 2. Ooh, this is...
I think you
The
have
best
to.
Suji traps are set up ahead of time.
This is delicious. I like this.
Wait. Daisuke, you were mentioning to me some time ago that the best way to trap players is Nakasuji. So what if you go the reverse? You cut the 2-so and the 8-so and Tanki on the 5-so.
Now, not the best way to trap players. The best way to trap Ho-Oh players is Nakasuji.
Okay. So would you do that in, say, one of your horror games? Would you be tempted to cut 2-so, 8-so and go 5-so Tanki if you drew the 4-7-mon?
Probably not. I would probably just drop the 5-so. Then again, you could get like the upgrade for Sanshoku, but that's unlikely. Yeah, so I'd probably just drop the 5-so. Mostly because if you do Richi on the 2-so or the 8-so, then the chances of someone dealing into Nakasuji becomes a lot less. But in this case right here, because you have both the 2 and the 8-so, even if you Richi on the 8-so, or even if you Richi on the 2-so, the other one is still like not a Suji directly to your Richi tile, which means it's a lot more like, oh, they're probably not waiting on this.
No, you gotta play the mind games. You know, it's not, Mahjong is not just about efficiency. You gotta break people down as players.
you have to like destroy them and then just have them like know like, wow, I got
Tenpai?
destroyed.
Tenpai
Now,
Richi?
are they going to
No,
Richi?
no.
Tanki.
Okay.
That's
That's not that bad, I think, because
No,
like
no.
right now you can see 3 of the 2-so. I'm sorry, 4 of the 1-so now. So the 2-so being used by someone is kind of unlikely. So they could just enjoy life, stay Dama. If a weight improvement does come, they can take it and
What is this?
kill
4
someone
7-mon now, I think it is?
Yes.
So 4-7-mon, Tenpai for Mikrichi, Tanyao, Adora-san. Oh, that's a deadly Dharma. That's a very deadly Dharma.
Luckily for everyone, they can all take in the 4-7 Monzu right now, unless Mikrichi decides to switch up their weights, which they do not.
Chooses to Karagiri. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. Miku39 does end up drawing the 7-mon, dealing into Tanyao Dora Aka for that 12,000 points. I mean, we use the term shadow realming, and I would say that's shadow realming. Oh, actually, I've forgotten to change something. So you guys talk for a bit. Oopsie.
Yeah.
Just give me-
I think Miku's screaming right now, saying, "Why are you called McReach when you should be called McDama?"
Dama.
All right.
South 1-1.
Dora is east. Right now, all of them are in the wall, unfortunately. Ooh, iOS case hand is looking pretty nice.
Definitely.
Already Ishanten can even get like Itsu potentially with an 8-so or 9-so draw. Can get Peiko even with a 3-pin, 1-pin draw.
No, this
And
four
yeah,
month's a
or
little
they
bit
can get
awkward.
like wow. No, the 4-month's really good because now they can get a 3-sided weight on the 1-4-7.
Ah,
So
yes,
if they
yes.
draw like a 6-month right there,
Or yeah.
there we go.
I stand corrected. Reach. Have we disconnected or are we waiting on something?
I was gonna say, it's like, oh, I guess okay, we're just waiting. Yeah.
Reach Dora on 147 bamboo.
Currently 5 still in the wall.
Pretty good chances to actually even just sumo it here. No aura free potential, however.
No Earth 3 potential. Ooh, 1 Shanten for Miku right now, holding 2 of the door in their hand.
Do you? I guess you don't, but I'll ask the question anyway. Would you ever consider pawning the Dora versus this Reach here? Like,
Not
obviously
in.
there's no other Yaku.
Well, yeah. Not in South rounds. It's like, why would you do that when you can just Richi and get, Richi Pinfu Tudora? Don't understand.
Indeed.
Now, if it was your Yaku, yeah, of course. Just call pawn.
I see the red 5 here. Switches that with the 8. It's Suji. Has it passed? Yeah, it did pass earlier. So, this is
Oh, here we
completely
go.
fine. Reach here on the 2 bamboo. So we're looking at Reach Dora free versus Reach Dora.
Did the stream just pause?
Okay.
J Cakes.
Jay, I need
Oh,
you to bring the
right.
window
Yeah,
back.
yeah, sorry. Just updating the scores. I am back. I realized I
yeah.
hadn't changed anything.
Yeah, we do see some. I think it was some good folding from McRitchie from what we could have seen on our point of view. Unfortunate deal in for Miku here. Only 2,600 though, so not the worst thing in the world, but he's got to make a move soon.
All right, South 2. Dealer is IOSK. Dora is the 9-pin. Currently, we got 1 in McReach's hands and 1 in IOSK's hand.
Oh my gosh,
And
McReach's hands
Nick
keep
Ricci
looking
is
so
cheating.
good.
It's just like they're clearly cheating. Like whoever we're watching is just clearly cheating.
Oh my gosh.
Now
We
if we get
do see Haku Huts in is it Adler or Alder? Yeah, Adler's hand here. Whose hand would you actually favor here? Because I'm really liking where Adler's hand is going.
That depends if Adler calls or not. If Adler calls, they're probably going. They could probably beat everyone else pretty quickly. But McReach's hands looks very, very, very nice with the shapes that we have.
It's
like
almost there.
yeah, it's pretty nice. Dealer's hand is actually not that bad as well. Ishanten for Pinfu right here. Looks like Adler's going to be calling Ishanten for them. Oh, yeah, that's very nice. All right, IOSK taking that reach, waiting on the 1-4 Manzu. Currently, 4 of them are still in the wall. I'm sorry, 6 of them are in the wall.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Pretty huge. It's like, oh, this is hella Ipatsu. Let's go.
Let's go.
The 5-man cut here from Adler, does that actually... That makes 4-man a little bit vulnerable here, and it does come out. Rich pay or a free potential. Doesn't get there. Doesn't quite get there.
I think that's something that is maybe worth talking about. It's like people seem to not overvalue, because I'm not very good at evaluating, but they play very anxious to the aparts and not to corresponding turns or like a future plan, if that makes sense. It's sort of like
so they're like, oh, I'm going to avoid this Ipatsu, but now what?
Yeah, kind of thing. So like, do you Daisuke, like how do you evaluate those kinds of situations when you're sort of like, okay, to fold, I have to destroy my hand. So how do I evaluate if I fold or not?
So a lot of that depends on the rule set you're playing. So kind of like what we were talking about yesterday with Totoro. They really wanted to avoid the Ippatsu right there because they're like, oh, I don't want to deal in with this like red 5 pin on their Ippatsu. But then after that, they don't actually have any safe tiles. But at least they don't throw into the Ippatsu. But a lot of that I think is it's more beneficial in games where you're avoiding fourth than it is in games where you want to take first. For instance, so dealing into Ippatsu on like Tenho or something, whenever you take a really big hit, you can fall into fourth, and if you do go into fourth, then it's very painful. In games like M League style, the EV matters a lot more than just like, oh, if I deal into this hand right here, I maybe get fourth. But more instead like, oh, if I win this hand right here, I can get first. And if you have those choices in Tenho between like, well, if I win, I get first, and if I lose, I get fourth. Usually, you want to avoid that, and it's like, oh, I'll just do nothing and get like third or second. But whenever you're in games like the M League style, where it's like if you get first, you are really winning, versus if you get last, you're kind of losing. But if you get like a first and a last, you're still up. In that case, pushing a lot of those hands, even to the Ippatsu, is not that bad as long as you have something to back it up. And if you do not have anything to back it up, then you just gotta like look at your path, like where are you going and what are you going to be doing next.
So it's again the like it's a shifting kind of mindset in terms of like, oh yeah, so Ipatsu is normally bad, but then in this kind of play style, it's maybe something worth taking with more consideration than usual, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Also, we are hearing from the chat that apparently it's not McRicci, it's MCR Ricci. So it's a pun between MCR and Ricci, and that actually this person likes to Dharma a lot.
Can we just call them My Chemical Ricci?
My Chemical Ricci.
Oh no! Gross.
My job's being taken. I can't do analysis. All I have left is shitty jokes. My job.
Don't worry. Guest commentator can't replace.
We've seen a pretty good hand from My Chemical Ricci here.
Ooh, is IOSK gonna keep that red 5, or are they going to go for that delicious Junshan? Nope.
No, they do.
The 4 pin is Fedora, so either way, it's yeah, either way. This way at least confirms that 4 pin, whereas the other way, if they got a Forso or 4-mon, they'd be kind of sad.
Is this Tenpai?
It is Tenpai.
This is
Choice
a
between
very
a
nice Tenpai. No.
I was gonna say choice between a non-Furitan 3-sided or a Furitan 5-sided. Wait.
Ricci!
Reach, do it!
Ricci!
No, he doesn't choose to reach.
Furitan Ricci, you wouldn't.
I mean, it's like a 7 tile weight, like Furitan Ricci. Remaining, how many are those? Let's see. So we got base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Actually, there's not that many left.
The 7 pin comes
14.
out here. My Chemical Ricci is might actually be questioning why they can't seem to run here. Unfortunately, Furitan does decide to take the chi and kind of discards down into into the same weight rather.
That is pretty good because they were able to like pass up their turn, drop a safe tile, and still keep Tenpai by calling that right there.
Does draw the 5-sided, which is the other 3-sided weight. When the shard does get drawn by Adler, does she choose?
Drop it?
Does she choose to drop it?
I think
she
so.
does.
Like,
I
just that
mean,
big
yeah.
weight, like you can't pass that up.
Does
Especially
deal
with, like a long gun right there.
Does deal into reach Dora 3 or 2 for the Haneman, essentially flipping. Switching. I mixed the words flipping and switching the positions of Miku 39 and Adler, moving us to South 3. So
My Chemical Ricci's hand is looking very interesting. They could technically just like do like a pon pon toy dash. They only had a little bit more value to it.
And I guess in your
Aw.
first place, you don't really want to be extending your hand forward. You want someone else to be doing the work for you.
Ideally, but as long as you, for instance, if they did go like pon pon pon, as long as they like kept that north pair along until like the very end, even if someone does reach you, they can fall back on that.
Yep.
So that's an example of like being able to push, try to get a Kwashite to push the game into Oras, but not actually overextending yourself.
Mm. So we see that MC, my brain
My
is so
Chemical
frozen
Ricci.
on like what to
My
call.
Chemical Reach.
ESP has chosen to cut the 2 9-sos, not wanting to go for that, and maybe going for more of a Dharma Pinfu style. So like like a Pinfu Dora one, maybe Ron to try and pass the round and keep closed. Miku 39 and 2 Shanten. Am I counting this wrong? 2 Shanten.
Technically, Ishanten right now because they can get Chitoitsu.
Oh, yep. Shanten. Only 2 Shanten from Suanko.
But I was about to say, but we're going for Suanko to start first here, right?
You could go for Tanya Toy
Ooh.
to go as one
Chun Unko. Now, according to ARMA regulations, this is plus flow.
Oh, that 3-man will be the deciding point.
It's so gross though.
It is so gross, but it is the deciding point because it is very much a lot
Well,
faster.
and also like yeah, you can take in the 7-pin, which is
So
the
Joe's choose
Dora,
to cut the
so-
2-man. Go for a wider Ishanten, maybe even Sananko. Wonder what would you do if? Okay, not a question now, but what would you do if you say drew a 2-pin? Would you take a Roundman or would you take the Sananko chance?
Roundman.
Roundman, yeah. fair
You're
enough.
the dealer. One of your side winning tiles is the Dora. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roundman.
What if it wasn't related to the Dora? Say you had no Dora and your Roundman is not related to the Dora.
Then probably the Sananko.
Oh, 2-pin draw from Adler.
Luckily, they can use it with that 4-pin right there. Currently, Ishanten for Adler right now.
1-man is it's a push. Yeah, definitely a push. See, so Adler more often than not goes back to oh, okay.
Oh.
So more
Hold
often
your horses, lads.
it's just super interesting because Adler's position here seems like it gets to an awkward weight very often, but it is going to be maybe Tanya Sanshoku sometimes. Right? Tanya Sanshoku Dora 1.
Yep. All they need is that 3-pin, 4-so, or 7 Mansu.
The
Ooh,
disgusting
nice red 5 draw.
the disgusting belly 7-man. 677.
Miku currently only has 1 winning tile left in the wall, the last 2-pin. Huh.
5-man.
Adler, keeping that south, either they think it's dangerous or they might be wanting to go for a nice trick weight.
Oh!
That's 7 Mansu.
7-man.
Dama!
Wait
Tama.
a minute.
Tanyao San. Okay, Tenpai for Adler Dan. Tanyao San Shokudora 1. Does Sumo would have been an enhanced Sumo if she chose to reach it. Oh well, I guess you can't really complain at manga and Sumo. So
But the Ura 3 potential.
The Aura 3
Tanya San Shoku Dora 1, 2K 4K, and Census off the South 4. So
Horrible jokes aside, would you ever reach that hand?
Yeah.
I would too, in a heartbeat.
Mostly because you're not folding that hand. If you do draw the 5-pin the 5-pin to get an upgrade, that would be nice. But right there, the 3-pin doesn't look like it's likely to come out. If it was a safe tile to the dealer, Dama is like really scary. But because in that case it wasn't a safe tile, and the other 2 players aren't likely to drop it, personally at least, I would probably reach you just for the extra value.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I agree with that. I think if it were a safe tile, even if it were Suji, I would probably Dama. But because it isn't, like the only reason to Dama would be trying to get that weight upgrade, but that's only 4 or 5 pins in the wall. So I'm not going to rely on that. I want that extra value, and if there's an apart steal in, that's like a hard amount for me.
Going into Oras, My Chemical Ricci looking pretty nice.
I like Adler's hand as well here. What? 2 Shanten for Chitoy? No, Ishanten for Chitoy?
Ishanten, yeah, they've had some amazing draws because their hand started off really bad.
Yeah, if you look at the Tadashis in the first row, that all started inside of there.
Mm-hmm.
If they get offered something like a 5-so, I wonder if they go for Toy Toy or not. 1-so offer for IOSK. Does choose to take it. Go headless temporarily. Technically the wider Ishanten. Dora draw for... Oh, ooh, Adler just dumps it. Doesn't want to mess around with that 6-man Dora. Just wants the widest possible hand, or the more likely Cheetoys, I guess.
Oh, good draw from Miku right now. Currently, the difference between Miku and Adler is about 4,300 points. So if they do get Richitsumo anything, that would be enough. Richitsumo Pinfu, unfortunately, is not. But it looks like they'll be able to fit in Tanya right here. Currently, it's still 2 Shanten for them. Can also get Sanchoku as well.
8-pin Anko for
Anko.
Adler.
Let's see. 9-mon? Oh, Tenpai for IOSK. Waiting on the 7 Monzu, which might come out. Oh, nope.
No.
It's kept it as a pair. Good to go. 2 are left in the wall for them.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm wondering what's going to happen next. We've got a very nice...
Korichi, also 1 Shanten.
But no incentive to push, I suppose. No Khan. Oh, decides not to keep the Anko, keep the wider Chitoy. Oh, unfortunately, IOSK does Tsumo, the Penchan 7-man, for Hatsunami. 300, 500? No, sorry, 400, 700? Yep, so sort of confirming their second place. So, that's our standings. We have My Chemical Richi in first place, IOSK in second place, Adler in third place, and Miku 39 in last place. Let's see if we can pull up McRichi for an interview. Yes, see if you can pull him. Do we have a log for it so I can go through the replay?
Yes, it is in the logs channel.
Yep. Cool. So any hands that you wanted to ask him about Daisuke in this? Anything comes to mind immediately? I can bring up the list of hands for you here.
There was a lot of runs that game.
Yeah, this was a very run-heavy game.
I do want to ask them, what do they think about the name My Chemical Richi? That's probably the biggest question I have to ask.
I think this is a very important question, so we'll pull them on and we'll ask. Hello, ESP. Congrats on your win. Does ESP have a mic? Yep. Hello. Congrats on your win. Very important question from Daisuke.
Yeah, so what do you think about the name My Chemical Richi?
I mean, you guys can call me whatever I want. I mean, whatever you want.
Alright, confirmed. My Chemical Richi.
Yes. Oh, yes. So I think here was a interesting decision in East 4. I have it streaming up so you can have a look at what I'm seeing here.
Sorry, hang on.
All good.
It's fine.
Yep. So, out of curiosity, was there any consideration on going for Suanko here? Or do you think, nah, Sananko, I'm gonna take that. I don't want to mess around.
There's already 2 of my alts out there, so it's harder.
Mhm.
You know. So might as well just go for the Richi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wait. I'm being ask about the 310 and the 7-pin Chi.
Oh.
Does anyone remember this? What hand this was again?
It was like South 3 or
12K
something like
run.
that.
Yeah. 12K run.
12K run.
Yeah.
This one? Oh. Yes, it is this one. Yep. So I think it was here that you were offered the choice. So any particular reason did you think like I think it's a better chance of just sumoing it, and you didn't want to take the 3-sided weight that could run?
because I did some dirty Dharma, so I was afraid the dealer will do the same thing. So I rather play safe against dealer. Because the 3-6 pin is near the Dora, so I didn't really want to release it against him.
Right. Okay.
I'll just go for the Tsumo on the 5-sided.
Okay. And then we saw that the 7-pin was dropped soon up as the parts after it. So and you decided to cheer it. Was it you were just trying to move things along and sort of have the few safe tiles that you could do it? So almost, I think Dasky was saying you skip your turn.
Looking at my hand, I have 0 safe tiles, so I can cheat and still have some safe tiles. That is the 2-pin.
Right. Okay. Yep. So you sort of keep yourself in tempi while like letting yourself naturally get rid of the 2-pin instead of drawing something like super live and having to cut it.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Nothing else from me. Anything from you guys?
No, that's it. It's a nicely played game. Very hard hitting.
Good first place. Good first place. Gives your team a nice, healthy add to their scores. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you next time.
I hope so.
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Now, so we are also quite on time again, as the I believe the replay will still be live for this game, but only just briefly. we do have reports that this game has indeed ended, so I hope you guys have prepared some quality content for the intermission here. Meanwhile, however, South for last illegal east seat here. Now does have that pair of the east. However, Ronald is also quickly progressing a hand here as well. Who are we favoring here, lads? Dora
Ronald.
2 in Lau's hand. You know, there's actually a lot of potential all over the board here, and it's quite tight.
Yeah, either Doctor or Ronald right now, it seems. Unless, yeah, Legal still needs that pawn. But that's not bad either. Oh, there we go.
Does get that early tempi for 2-pin 6 mon. No Agari Yames, so even if Illegal does win this, there will be another round afterwards.
Yeah. We run it back, lads.
We run it back. Yeah, but like other than that, it's a nice early tempi. Up does manage to get the switch to the 1-4 pin, which is nice.
Ronald, no! Now, luckily for Ronald, if they do deal in, oh wow, that's
Sun
interesting.
Shoku conversion?
San Shoku conversion. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
No, 1-pin deal in from Dr. Cox. Giving Illegal 1500 point hand and moving us on to South for 4. Oh my gosh, I just noticed the Humber.
That's not what the doctor ordered.
Oh wait, that's 2 Dora as a start. Oh my lord.
That's not what the doctor ordered.
Not to mention, it's a Yakuhai, so they can pawn.
Wonder if they will go Atuzuke on anything else here. So say take a... Oh, never mind. Not a question anymore. Sorry.
No longer irrelevant.
No longer relevant. I was more wondering, say, you know, if they did get offered the 7 man, would they cheat it early and go and try to isolate the ton and hope that it's not paired up in someone else's hand?
Now, this is kind of interesting, because if anyone deals into this hand, they're probably getting last.
And first place is not really an achievable goal at this point, would you say?
Yeah, and first place is, pretty unachievable.
So maybe we've switched to a more Tenho-esque kind of mentality of like, well, maybe I just don't want to deal in here.
But
no, it's not. My eyes deceive me. Deceive me.
The dealer does have the option of folding their hand at the very end to not take tempai in order to end the game. Which means that if Dr. Dox doesn't win, they could also lose. So that's kind of a hard choice for them. Of like, well, do I back off and hopefully the dealer will kill someone for me, or do I push forward just in case the dealer doesn't declare tempai, so that I can at least have a chance, to get back into third.
Seems like in response to your question, Dr. Dox has decided to take an initiative. Does decide to pawn the 8 man. Hard to see where the value is enough. Seems like it's a toy
Pretty
toy.
interesting to see how everyone's pushing, especially Ronald.
Tenpai for Lao.
No one respects that dealer.
No, no one does. Tenpai, Yakunashi Tenpai for Lao. Ishan, is that Ishan or Tenpai for illegal? I think that's Ishanten, right?
Still
Does
Ishanten.
Tsumo.
Ah, nice.
Nice. Tsumo Nomi
Tsumo
from
Nomi.
Lao. Giving them, is that upset to second place? I think
Yeah,
it
that
is.
upset
second
second.
place.
Without
That's
a
just
doubt.
for Honda.
Nice. So with the 4 Honda, it does give La Sabal second place. So we have our ending with Illegal Ollie in first place, La Sabal in second, Ronald in third, and Dr. Docs in fourth place. And that ends our natural stream of content. I think there is something else worth talking about. So if we're going through stories, I think SBT, yours is a good one because aren't you you started one of the first clubs in Adelaide? Unfortunately, with the how shall we say condition going around in the world right now, there can't be any meetings. But I think it's worth talking about. How did you end up getting into mahjong, starting the club? How did you banding people together, advertising yourselves, because that can't be very easy for a niche activity.
So I must say that was a wonderful segue just to start. My start in not only reaching mahjong but mahjong in general is I'd like to think just a touch unique or at least strange in one way, quite racist as it is. A lot of people who know me would know that my specialty previously was in card games. So I did a lot of MTG or Magic the Gathering, played a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh back in my junior years, and my main game at the time was Vashfarts. I had a couple people playing in the shop and needed a fourth player. Came to me and said, "Hey, you're Asian. You know how to play, right?" At the time, I didn't know how to play, so I kind of learned on the spot. And ever since, I kind of, was like, that game was really fun. You guys should teach me. You guys should teach me. And we never actually got around to playing more Mahjong because that group of people, we preferred to play a lot more board games. So a couple years later is when I started playing, is when I actually started playing Mahjong, Reach Mahjong. So I started out on a mobile app called I think it was like Sengoku High or something like that. Simply
Tengoku
because
High.
yeah,
Yeah.
simply because I had no idea what Tenho was. Believe me when I said when I discovered Tenho, I went deep. I can recall the days fondly where I would probably be at my computer for 30 games just trying to learn this game inside and out. I play a lot less now. Got a little bit of burnt out here and there, but yeah, the game's been fun. I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of people. I'm still learning a lot, which is, as Duske actually mentioned in our last intermission, Mahjong is definitely one of those games where you think you know something, but you don't. Yeah, so being able to just be on this adventure and learn Mahjong has been a lot of fun, and being part of ARMA now is it's really great seeing everyone coming together to play Mahjong in such a strange time we have right now. Enough about me. Moving on to the club, I got a fair amount of people into Mahjong by accident.
Wait,
It
accident?
definitely happened. It definitely happened around the Mahjong Soul era, when that dropped in the English format. Just before that, it was actually May of last year, I believe it was. I started talking to my boss because I actually that game store which gave me my childhood, I now work in, funnily enough. So I was talking to my boss and kind of, brainstormed the idea. I play a lot of Mahjong. There's a couple people who want to play Mahjong. Can I set up a club through the shop and get some funding? So that's where we got our first set, was actually funded through one of my boss's connections. And from there, I kind of, just pulled people in. It's just like, hey, do you want to learn how to play Mahjong? Hey, do you want to learn how to play Mahjong? And now we've got maybe a good 12 to 16 person club. So, for a young club, 12 to 16 for me is amazing, especially when I don't always get 16 people showing up to our weekly gatherings, but we get maybe 8 to 12. And for me, as a club leader and someone who's focused a lot more on building a community rather than working on my own skill recently, seeing people come together and enjoy playing Mahjong has been important for me, let's just say.
Yeah, and it's been absolutely like sort of amazing to see. Also, like obviously I haven't been there myself, but I have been keeping up with the ARMA Discord, and you've sort of been talking about gaining people slowly, and you've got 2 whole teams registered in this tournament. Maybe saying you've got it, but like you've fostered enough people into this that 2 teams of people have decided to play, which is really really good. It's amazing for the growth of like Australian Richu.
So not only can SBT get first place, but also second place.
Exactly. The Adelaide teams need to pull up and get SVT to this styling age of, you know what? I got first and second. Those are my teams.
Just
Which
for
of
the
the 2
record,
Adelaide teams?
no, we don't need to talk about that.
Hey, they're no longer the bottom 2 teams on the ladder board, because I know that the Melbourne team is second last right now.
They were once upon a time. Just for the record, I am looking to defect.
Looking to defect.
If Melbourne or Sydney or even Brisbane are willing, let's draw up a contract.
Oh,
If you need a new sponsor, SBT is here. Just saying.
Oh my gosh.
That bad? That bad?
Look.
They're to be fair, a lot of my players are when I say young, I don't mean age, because I'm probably like the youngest person in the server, so wouldn't be able to talk about people being young. But when I say young, I mean like new players in general. My entire club is basically young players. Like Green have never competed on such a organized setting before. So seeing that I've got, I think, like 6 people registered in this event who every single week show up, with some difficulties here and there because they've never used Tenho before, but still show up, are willing to play, and some aren't doing so hot, some are doing incredibly well. I'm just very happy that they're willing to play and get themselves out there. And just because you were asking, it is Team Kun for Fun and the Last Wise players.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, they're Khan for Fun. Wait, Last Wise players is in the top 4.
Yes.
Wait.
We watched that last game yesterday. Did you not see?
No, I thought that the Adelaide team was Zamani Chiteridis.
No, that's like a Melbourne team.
Oh yeah, that's the team that. Oh right, that's one of the New South Wales teams, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. My bad. I just forgot. I just completely blanked out of that. Yep. Yeah, you don't need a defect, dude. At this rate, they're gonna make the final 4. Linear approximation, they're gonna make the final 4.
Aren't you a mathematician? You know linear approximation is like
Hey.
extremely inaccurate.
Wait, no. Hold on a second. You say that, but we base all of our statistical inference on some form of linear approximation. You throw in manipulating your data a bit, and okay. What I'm saying is obviously extremely wrong, but I like to say it in terms of saying something incorrectly on purpose. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, also I wanted to say thank you so much, SPT, for dealing before with all of the admin. I have been taking the cozy seat of just commentating and bantering while you've been dealing with all the stress. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's definitely just a touch stressful trying to do like both the commentary and like the admin stuff all at once. But that's where having a co-commentator and even a guest commentator, once again, thank you Dusko for joining us, actually make life just so much easier because sometimes I do go silent, but when I do go silent, it's because I'm trying to run something in the background. And when I do go silent, we get less of my shitty jokes. So like,
Wait, no, but the shitty jokes are like mint quality. Like actually,
Mint quality?
like you can't say it like it's a bad thing that we don't get those jokes anymore because it's not. I enjoy them. I have fun
oh
with
boy,
them.
don't encourage me because then you're gonna get a lot of them.
So
Like
sorry.
you can gauge how good a joke is by like how like wide a person's like eye roll is, or just like how long their sigh is, and that's just how you know. It's just like wow, like 10 seconds. This is like peak joke.
I'm
So
gonna
I
be a
wanted.
brilliant dad.
Yeah. So Daisuke, I don't think you know any of the players who are playing right now, right? Other than what you've seen from them so far.
Yeah, other than what I've seen so far.
Mm.
Also, why is Muller not playing? So sad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you got to ask Moller yourself, yeah, ask Moller. There was a whole thing, all of the New South Wales people like Totoro, Nosti, and Muller didn't want to end up on the same team, but they also didn't take any initiative to organize their own teams. So they wanted to be adopted. And you can imagine how that went when, as the inclining deadline came and the people were forming their own teams, but then they were sort of still sitting there.
It's just like, please, it's just like two puppies left alone in like a cardboard box, and I guess someone picked up Totoro but left poor Muller on the side of the street.
Well, yeah,
I'm
here's the thing,
telling.
but that's the interesting thing, right? The puppies didn't want to be together, so it's like some kind of thing of like, like yes, it's adoption, but at the same time, I would never want to be caught dead in the same household as the other puppy.
I'm telling you, man. When I defect, I'll defect properly. I won't wait for someone to take me in.
You will have like your CV ready to go. You're like, hello, my name is SBT. Here are my credentials.
So I was gonna say, you want to pick which game we're watching next? Based on absolutely zero knowledge.
Let's see. Well, we've kind of watched. Actually, no, we haven't watched Ronald all today. I know, like, My Chemical Reach we've seen. Let's see. Wallaby Nazi. Yes, I guess game 2.
We also have a 5Dan 2KR, which is a 2100R, which is clear smurfing.
which is clear smurfing.
I mean, is it not?
Doesn't everyone have 2100R at 5 dawn? I don't understand.
Yes, Daisuke, yes, of course, yes. Every person I've talked to has talked about how easy it is to get to 5 down with 2100R.
Yeah. Is that ZY's main account?
That's a hard question to answer. Because the way I have to answer it is, I don't think they have a main account.
Oh.
Just lots of accounts with very impressive ratings.
Just lots of accounts with very impressive ratings.
Yes, so I that's as far as I know. I'm sure someone else could tell me if I'm wrong.
Interesting.
Yes, so I know that ZY is a Melbourne player. Nazi's from WA, I think.
Yeah, Nazi is in fact repping the only player rather repping Western Australia right now. So that's you did mention how the Australian reach and mahjong scene is growing, and it's even in Western Australia we've managed to find someone.
I'm hearing from Philip that he has one account at 7 Dan. ZY.
Ooh,
Ooh.
ooh, indeed.
Ronald is from New South Wales, I believe, and I don't remember Wallaby. off the top of my head. It might be under a
No.
different name. That
Wallaby is Gudetama,
oh, isn't that New South Wales as well?
I-
I could be wrong.
I think. I feel like I should know this because this is the only thing I'm good for now. But like,
Wait. Hold on a second.
yeah, he
No,
is indeed tagged as Sydney.
Yep. So a part of Nosti's university team with the extremely Trinibio name, Flame Curse Evil Eye.
I'm telling you, man. They're like at the. I think they're at the top right now. But wait until the middle of the season where they start like ripping off that eye patch. We're in for a treat.
Alright, so opening up, what do we see? True Dora in ZY's hand. Very pretty. A very pretty hand. Oh my god. Early Hatsupan from Wallaby seems to be I keep forgetting it. Washite? I can't pronounce. Wash away hand. I can't remember how you said it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Washi Tech.
Washi.
Yeah.
Kawashi.
Kawashi. Yeah. Okay. Kawashite. So trying to probably shut it out. Say, you know what? You don't get your dealership. You don't get your
Which is-
expensive hands.
Which is pretty good considering YZ has 2 Dora, Nazi has 3 Dora, and potentially like Ipeiko. Like, yeah, just let's skip to the next hand.
And
That's
Ronald
fine.
here has what potential Yakuhai Honetsu? Yeah, everyone's hands here are disturbingly potentially very
This is-
expensive.
This is definitely one of those. I don't want to deal with any of these hands. I'm just going to try to, move along.
Oh my gosh, dude,
No.
that 5 draw is so good.
Now this is interesting.
That is interesting.
Puma? Oh, 6
But also,
Oh.
Oh. Wonder why. Oh, wait, 4
Gets
Fairy
to-
Turn.
gets to keep both of the 5 mons here in case he happens to draw like a random 6 mana or a 3 mana, I guess. As you did mention, the 4 is also furry 10, so it's that 5 5 6 6 7 shape, it does become a little bit iffy. Do you happen to see any other reasons for this, Duske, or do you feel like this is actually the line that's
I guess
pretty good?
final shape. Yeah, I guess final shape and not wanting to drop the Dora, because if they did keep the Dora and they didn't want to drop it, then they would be left with like a 1-mon, 5-mon Shabo, which the 1-mon ain't that bad, but yeah, that 5-mon Dora, probably no one's gonna drop it. So aside from that, they're like, well, if I keep this, I can keep the Dora. If I do draw 3/6 Manzu, they could even just Dama with, a death hand, 12,000 points. If they Tsumo or Takame, it's already up to a Hanemon, even as Dama. So
Oh god.
So we do
just
see
on time. Oh,
we do
safe.
see a flurry of events here. So first of all, Tenpai for Gudetama or Wallaby, who did have the opportunity to switch to a 6/9 pin weight, decides to hold the pay and wait on the pay instead. She on the 6 pin for Ronald or 5 here manages to Tenpai himself on the west or on the Sha or pay. And then finally, Nazi, who's also Tenpai on the 3/6 pin, whilst ZY is dancing around this entire pot.
Now it's kind of interesting that Nazi is not reachy right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of Dora not to be reaching. Oh my gosh, ZY is out of the hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're both out of the hand. Wow.
Okay, that's a
Oh,
Sumo
there we go.
reach.
It's like, where is it? Come on.
So I think
Kind of interesting. YZ and Wesley both decided like.
Unfortunately, does draw the last North Wind, dealing into North Honetsu. What a spicy one. We saw a very well timed
the
fold from
cheapest.
ZY.
No,
and-
that wasn't the cheapest.
Yeah,
Was that the cheapest hand
That was the
at the
Takame.
table?
Um,
I don't think it was. I think Wallaby's hand may have been slightly cheaper, I think.
Yeah, so Olivia's hand was a 1k hand, and then you had
Yeah.
8k, 12k.
YZ's hand is pretty fun right now. Technically, 2 Shunten can even get Tanyao, potentially upgrade to Painfu, maybe even like
Nazi's
Sanchoku.
hand, though.
Oh, that ton
Nazi's
draw for
hand,
Nazi.
though.
Oh
That
my
ton.
god.
Daughter,
Ah,
with pretty good
shade.
shade.
Throw that 7 pin. You don't need that 7 pin. If you
Hatsu.
draw the 8, you'd probably take it though.
Oh, that hand is what? That's a Oyahane pretty quickly, isn't it?
Oi, 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 that 5, so.
Oh, it just gets better.
Ooh. Now West right now looking to end the game really
That
quickly.
4
One
pin!
Shansen.
Oh, 3-star?
4-man,
Nope.
rather.
Oh, nice draw. Tenpai for. Can you move the mouse?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Wallaby.
Wallaby, there we go.
And 5 Wallaby, 2-5, so temp. Ishan 10 for.
seven
Oh
tiles
my
Oh,
god. Hatsudora Yon.
This
Oh!
Reaching!
Ah.
For Ronald at the last moment.
Ron old.
Ah. No,
Shut
SPT,
down.
don't.
Shut down.
No.
Moving on, East 3.
10 out of 10 shutdown.
Oh my gosh. That was okay. So what we saw, what ZY got into Tenpai for 147 pin and was forced to deal the 6 pin into Ronald to just go into Tenpai for 3-6 pin. We had a huge grenade hand for Nazi on the 3-6-0, and I don't remember what Wallaby was doing.
Wallaby was going for just like a Kwashite, just end this round. This is scary. I'm out.
Ah, I see. Wallaby drawing the Aka 5 pin, chooses to cut the 1-3, so forcing in the Tanyao probably. Like, even if they draw the 2, so they probably don't want it. ZY draws an Aka 5 set, which is a nice add to value, especially, well, a very nice shapes and nice adding value. I was going to say maybe Sanshoku, but it's really hard to see how the Sanshoku comes together.
Ooh, Dora draw for Ronald. Unfortunately, they got that pesky 1-mon in their hand, but they might just drop it to go for Tanyao open.
Chi from ZY, because the 2-so. Probably will switch out this 2-so for a safer looking tile and keep the Ramen Ishanten.
Yep, there we go. Ronald makes a move. Currently, 2 Shanten.
Oh, this is
Headless Ishanten for ZY.
Lot of tiles.
Yes.
Thankfully for him, though, the head is possible here with the 8 bamboo. Does discard it for Tenpai here. So we're 7 man. How many are actually left in the wall, though?
2?
3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, so 2 left.
The 4-mon might come out from Wesley, depending on what they draw. They probably don't want to drop the door, so if they do draw like a 5-mon, that 4-mon might be pretty likely to come out.
What's a saving draw for Wallaby here? 4-mon?
4-man exactly.
Unfortunately.
That wasn't it.
Unfortunately, it does deal in on the 4-mon for Haku Dora 1, pushing us to East 4. A lightning fast Hanchan. Gosh, seems like every Hanchan we've been playing has been like, what, 9 hands at most? 9-10 hands at most?
Wash away all these hands.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Look,
Dealer Ronald has some pretty nice shapes in their hand. Looking most probably to be the fastest, unless YZ can get a couple lucky draws.
A pair of chuns for Wallaby, and we see that Wallaby has been preferring towards that wash away hand. So, wait, did they have the pair when the first chun came out?
I don't know.
Is
Even
this...
if they did, right now their hand is very sad.
Yeah.
We have instant replay available on 10.
I was just thinking, it's interesting to see, when they decide to go for those kinds of cheaper hands. It does draw the one of the Pinzu that heads towards Itsu. I forgot which Pinzu it was.
They did not have the chun at the time. The chun pair at the time of the discard.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that 4-pin draw is really good for them. YZ currently East Shanten with also a decent draw. Ronald also technically East Shanten, very sad East Shanten, but now it becomes a lot better East Shanten.
Yeah. Elected to cut the 6-8 pin instead of the 8-9 mon, not keeping the Tan Yao chance.
But if they do draw the 7 mon now, they can drop the 7 Sozu for a 3-sided weight.
Ooh,
This looks tasty.
that does look tasty. Ends up being a Tenpai for Tanki 8 mon for Tan Yao Dora 1.
Each.
Tenpai for Nazi, cutting
Taking
the Tanki Dora for Reach Aka. Oh,
Oh?
wait, what's happening?
Probably
Oh.
Tsumogiri 2-mon reach because the 2-mon is in their discard pile. So if they wait on that, they're going to be very sad. 8 Manzu, 3 in the wall still.
Oh my gosh, how are there so many 8 mons in the
5
wall?
Sozu has
oh,
0 in the
yeah.
wall.
Reach Tanyao Dora. 1 Uro would make it a manga, which is massive. Unfortunately, does not hit the Uro.
No aura. Oh, unfortunate, but like fortunate for Nazi though. Like getting hit by that Mungun there is likely a death sentence. This gap, however, probably still just
At least
recoverable.
4. It's at least 4. Plenty of chances.
Kokshi? Is this Kokshi? Please go. Nah.
Maybe. They
that's
started off with
boring.
7. They started off with 7 tiles. Very sad. Nazi's hand is actually very interesting and made an amazing 8-mon draw right there. Can even upgrade to like Sanshoku or potentially Itsu. YZ also maybe flirting with the chance of Chanta or yeah, probably Chanta maybe. Or they could just keep the Penfu Ipeko chance.
Would you ever look at like a maybe just oh no, never mind. My mind's just fried. I was maybe considering cutting like the 7/7 one and forcing like a Junchan, but you kind of already brought that up. How likely does a hand like that look in this situation? He's already cut a couple of honors and the 9 so here. So Chunter itself, or even Junchan in this case, does feel just a touch difficult to get.
Not that difficult. So if they draw like a 9 so or like a 1 mon and then they drop that 6 so and then they happen to draw a pair on that other floating tile that they have, they can easily upgrade to that. They don't look like they're wanting to right now, at least for the 9 so, which was already 2 cut anyway. Should be interesting to see if they draw like a I guess 1 pin or even 9 pin. Anything or 9 mon especially, to see what they're going to discard from there.
And we do see Nazi here advancing his hand as well. Advanced, maybe in a looser form of the term, has kind of shifted tiles here and there, shifted weights here and there, but hasn't quite moved forward in Shunten just yet. We do see a pickup for Wallaby, which progresses him into that's. I'm pretty sure that's Tenpai on Pinfu Dora Dora. What do you think of the Dama here?
So it's also a Sanshoku if they get the 6 so, which is probably why they decided to Dama. But unfortunately,
Oh,
it is
they're
a footy 10.
10.
Yes. So yeah, I personally I like Rishi specifically because it's furry 10. Since it can't come out from other people, and if you can get people to fold, that would probably be pretty nice. What is happening to the screen?
Fortunately, it's not on stream.
Yes, it is not on stream. I was just trying to sort out putting in the scores, so you guys just have to deal with it. Sorry about that.
All good, all good. Let's see. 6 so currently has 1 left in the wall that they could draw. 3 so is also 1 left in the wall. The last 6 so comes out right there. So why is he gonna drop that this late? Yes, they will, but unfortunately, Wallaby is in furry 10, so they cannot win off of it. Nazi just begging the game, please, please give me Tenpai.
I'll never go Atozuke again. Just give me the Tenpai. I won't do anything bad, I swear.
See, I wonder if it's worth considering when it gets to this kind of 2 draws, 1 draw left. Do you take those cheese and try to go for K10?
Usually, yeah, usually you'll take the cheese, especially with 1 and 2 draw, even like 3 draws left. Ooh, here we go. Stays with the Dama. Ooh, nice choice. Currently,
is that no
9
dead?
so is dead. 6 so
Is-
is also dead. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a dead
Um,
weight.
Also known as positive because tempai payments.
See a
Ronald.
3-man draw for Wallaby here. Just thinks a little bit on it before cutting the 3-man. What do you think he's rather they're considering here when they're just pausing a little bit on the 3-man?
3-mon is kind of dangerous for the dealer and also Southwind right now, and so they're
Mhm.
like, well, do I really want to push? And they're like, yeah, I guess I have to. But on the Haite tile, they drew the Dora. I don't know if they're going to be willing to throw either of the Dora here. They do not. No one is Tempai.
Yeah, so we see
Moving
that
on to
Nazi
the
and
top
Wallaby,
round.
which were the only players who were in Tempai a turn before their last draws, folding out on very dangerous tiles because they don't want to deal into any other Dharmas. And not seeing K10 or... for those of you who don't know what K10 is, K10 or Keshi Tempai means like a Yakuless Tempai. Sorry. Yeah, or just taking a Tempai in general because they don't see the Tempai payments as valuable enough.
YZ chilling with that one shunt in hand. If they draw us 3/6 Sozu, they're kind of sad though because they probably don't want to take Richi and Nomi. But they could easily Dama right there, and if they draw like a 2-pin, 6-pin, 7-pin, or a 9-pin, upgrade to Pinfu, or potentially even Pinfu Dora, or even just Dora with a 1-pin draw. So they got some options. Other players look a tad bit slower. Nazi probably not much behind though.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yep, decides to keep the Dama right now. If they do get the Pinfu upgrade, or maybe even a Dora draw, they'll probably take it. We'll see. Nazi dropping that Haku, kind of fishing for a potential even Sanshoku upgrade.
We do see another Dora discard here from ZY. Now, seeing 3 of the Dora have been discarded, are you ever incentivized to reach now, or would you still Damo and look for that pin fee upgrade?
Now, personally, right there, I probably would have thrown the 3-pin, because the 1-pin is pretty much dead, and so even if you get a 2-pin, it's not that great. You do have the 5, 6, 7, 8, which is great, and then if you did keep the 4-so right there, you could have that 3, 4, 4, 5 shape, which means you can take in the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 6, and be pretty happy. But YZ opts for, that chance to draw that 4-pin to just continue the round. That's what they get. And we got a dealer Renshon going into South 1-3. Dora is 3-pin.
Dash free indeed. Now we do see the Dora actually in ZY's hand this time. We see a 3/5 pin and a 4/5 bamboo. Are you ever, even looking at this and going, maybe Sanshoku, or do you think, nah, this isn't Sanshoku, like you're way too far away here?
Yeah, maybe Sanshoku. Your shapes suck regardless, so you kind of go along with the flow and just kind of see what comes because you can't really like force anything here.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially you don't want to like force Sanshoku hard because you still need like a couple tiles for it connected to that 2-so, so that's kind of difficult.
Alright.
And looking pretty fast here. Ishanten right now with 1 Dora. They are in first place. So they might not opt to reach and could, and they probably just want to upgrade to like a Pinfu so they can still win and keep Dama. We'll see there. Yeah,
Now,
Boise not even
go on.
consider Sanshoku. They have that 5-so, they have a 4-so. They're just like, nah, not worth. This hand is too bad of shape. Like you just
Yeah.
gotta go fast.
Alright. Let me just bring your attention to Wallaby's hand here. Now, third place, 2,200. Second place, 22,000. Second place at 27,000. So that's around, 5,000 give or take. Not regarding the hundreds points here and there. We do see the nun pair. What do you do in this scenario? Are you looking to, pawn, go quick with that Dora acceptance you have here, or do you have to, because of your point situation, play it a little bit more conservatively and look for a reach hand?
Well, not necessarily point situation, but more so just the hand composition. Even if they do pawn, they still need to complete all the rest of their Mensu. So right now they have 3 Shanten. Even if they pawn, they're 2 Shanten. They're left with no like really good safe tiles to fall back on, and so it's kind of a hard choice. They could opt to go for like Sanshoku Tanya with the door right there. They're like, nah, I'll just go for keep my Ryamen shapes open. Ooh, nice draw.
Yeah.
Now they can technically open up with a quick hand, but given their point situation, yeah, they probably want to, push for that Ricci a little bit more.
Definitely. We do see ZY here picking up a copy of the Nun in what is this? The 10th? 10th turn, I think it might be. I'm not very good at actually counting the turns here.
9th.
Nevertheless, the Nun draw, holding on to the Nun, what are you thinking he might be considering here? Are you looking at maybe, it's a safety, you don't want to give anyone the pawn here during your dealership, or do you think he's actually digging to find a Nun?
He might actually be just folding. His hand's really bad. Really bad. His hand is most probably not going to be. Yeah, it looks like he is. His hand is not going to be completed. Unless he has just like god luck and pairs up everything and is left with that south, he's probably not going to be moving forward. Right now he's doing a Wasauchi, throwing safe tiles along with what other people throw, holding on to that Shompai south for dear life, and just, trying to get through the round.
Tempa?
Bad
No,
might be an understatement here.
Isha on 10 for Wallaby for that non. 7 pins a nice draw for ZY. Might actually be able to dig in on this hand.
Seriously, a couple good draws right there, but I don't think they're going to be willing to throw that south. If the south did come out, then they might be willing to. But because it's still Shompai right now at this point in the game, I guess we'll see. Luckily, we can see some of the Dora, so at least they know it's like, well, not super, super dangerous.
Wonder if they ever say pawn a 7, so yeah, probably not.
Wallaby decides to take the Dama. Doesn't want to break up that south. Ishunten for ZY drops that 5-mon. Still a little bit dangerous, but it's willing to push for that 1 Shanten.
Tempai for Wallaby.
Three-sided weights.
147, sorry.
This is a bigger Tenpai now.
Are they going to take that Ricci?
No.
No Ricci. Currently 3 tiles in the wall for the 147 weight.
For 3
Is it wrong that I really want to slam that reach?
No. I would probably reach.
Yeah, I would slam that tile sideways.
Yeah, I would just like straight up.
So if ZY gets into Tenpai... Okay, never mind. I was wondering if ZY gets into Tenpai, are they willing to cut the Shompai Nan for a chance at another hand?
Plus 3,000 here for Wallaby. Now this does set him up to shoot for 2nd place here. Now winning a hand here would probably be pretty important, as winning a hand would catapult him into contention for 1st place. Nazi, however, what are you looking to do in Nazi's situation?
Win. And luckily, they have a chance to even get like Suanko or Sunanko right here with a couple of lucky draws. 1 pin, both in the wall. 6 Sozu, both in the wall. 7 Sozu, both in the wall.
Whoa, why are they all in the wall?
Yeah.
This is just a touch spicy here. Now we do see a Hut's Unko in Ronald's hand. Are we going fast in his case?
Yes. You are cheating, you are calling, you are shutting down this hand. Even if someone reaches, that's totally fine because you can just drop your Hatsu.
Yeah.
So right now he has that beautiful 3-sub weight, takes it, destroys Nazi's hopes and dreams, crushed in a single 1,000 point hand. Oh, delicious.
I'm gonna guess that you are a big fan of Kawashite.
Not all Kawashite, but good Kawashite, yeah, those are just like Ronald's position right there. He's in 1st place. He just wants to continue the round, just have a happy, nice experience, nothing crazy. Even if someone retweets, that's okay. He can fall back, and if he wins, great. The game continues. The chances of him getting 1st increase by a lot. So yeah, great call.
Kawashite connoisseur we have here, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotta add a bit of it to your diet, a healthy balanced diet has got fruit, vegetables, some protein, some starch, something like that. A good mahjong diet has, folding, reaching, and good Kawashite. as a bit
Yeah,
of
yeah, but it
spice.
has to be that A grade Karashite, right? Like that D grade Karashite you get from
Ah,
the dollar store might be a little bit, shoddy here and there.
now
Like
Ronald just made a really good. Speaking of Quashite, Ronald just made a really good choice right here. Opting to drop the 7/8 Manzu double sided weight, keep that Itsu open, even though it's going to end up on a bad weight. He can both open, and even if he does get Tempa, he doesn't have to reach, which is really big because you're in first place right here. The only way you lose is, like jumping out in front of a car. And in this case, the car is a dealer reach. So he really doesn't want to reach it right here and get chased by dealer reach and get hit by that car. So because he has this Itsu, now he has the option just, chill, stay back, stay closed. And if a Riichi does come, just fold.
yeah. So we're looking not to get isekai to another world here. Is what you're saying.
This is interesting. Now this is very interesting. Will the greed take over Ronald? Are they going to be willing to push that 1 pin? We can see all of the 2 pins, though. We can see all of the 2 pins, so the 1 pin is actually pretty safe.
Yeah. But unfortunately, and this is just mostly like a caster's curse, is that we do see the 7 pin is completely gone.
Now, what if the 4 pin comes into Wallaby's hand, though?
Oh.
And then we're in trouble.
Well, I mean, 4 pin. 4 pin isn't it as dangerous as a 7 pin? Except 7 pin deals into penchants too. Oh, never mind. Let's not worry about it. ZY does Sumo the 8 man for reached Sumo E Peiko. Ura 2. Ura 2. Oh, that's a nice
That puts
Ura.
YZ in a very, very good position to fight first place, down 5,000 points. So if they just get Rijutsumo anything, like one Dora, Tanyao, that will be enough to tie them with Ronald put them into first place over Ronald.
So it's going to take some handcrafting, because that extra Yaku that you were mentioning is not as straightforward. Tanya will require breaking of the north pair. Itsu still...
No. See, you're like, oh, I have to like chase some Yaku. No, let the Yaku chase you. You can draw like a red 5. You can draw another red 5. With this 7, so you could technically draw another red 5. I mean,
Relationship, dating advice with Dasuke here.
just let the red 5 come to you.
Yeah. Friendship with Yaku over. Red 5 is now my best friend.
I mean, if you didn't want to have a relationship with Dora, you should just go play JPMLA rules. We're here for that. We're here to accept all Dora to give us extra hand.
Now, Wallaby's hand is like absurdly scary.
Is there a Gyakuten hand in here? Hanetsumo? Is that enough?
Let's see. Richitsumo, Tanyao, Dora 1, 2, 3, Chitoitsu, Baimon Sumo hand would be enough to give them first place, I think.
Tenpai for Ron, 8 pin, 1 man.
That's
Kawashi
exciting.
tear yet again.
Baimon from Wallaby, Gak 10 would be amazing right now.
Oh, no, that 8 pin's coming
8
out.
pin is coming out.
Yeah.
YZ spatted down by Ronald, bringing their difference to about 8,000 points. Not that bad. If YZ gets like, let's say, there is one Honba on the field. So if YZ gets Richitsumo, like Pinfu, and then like Tanyao or one Dora, that would be enough to put them over Ronald by like 100 points.
Yeah. Also, like a Ron. Oh wait. Oh, sorry. Are we talking about? Yeah. Like a Ron, AK Ron would be enough for ZY, right? Because of the Honba.
Yep, or even a 3,900 point run off of Ronald.
Yeah.
Ronald.
Many possibilities and many options in this hand as well. We already see 2 Dora in ZY's hand here, so it's coming together.
Now Nazu's hand has a couple Dora. Just drew a pair right there. Has a choice.
Is Wallaby still in Baimon range of first place?
Let's see. If Wallaby is within, yes, it does. Yes, Wallaby is still in Baimon Sumo range.
So,
unfortunately, a Baimon is very difficult for them now. Last hand they had a God hand. This hand, not so much.
I was gonna bring up the idea before of Menhon Itsu. like reach Sumo, Pinfim, and Hanitsu somehow.
Now,
But,
Nazi's in an interesting position right here. They're just outside of a Mangansuma range from Wallaby, unfortunately. But if they do get a Hanemansuma, that would be enough to bring them up. Ooh, Ishansen for Ronald.
Ronald definitely looking to make use of
Oh,
this
it's a bot.
dealership and run away with the game here. As Jay
Ten-
mentioned, Tenpai doesn't take
Dama. Maybe choosing to
Yeah.
want to end things very peacefully.
Yikes.
I can just hear it right now. The 2-pin coming out. Regret. The
Yikes.
5-pin coming out.
Yikes.
Regret.
Yikes.
That's three. That's 3 tiles back to back of pure regret.
Nazi. Ishanten for technically Takame, Pinfu,
figured it
Dora,
out.
Ipeiko. That's a Hanemansuma right there. Ronald is like, I'm done with this regret. I am reaching. Screw all of you. How dare you drop my winning tile?
Oh, it's
And
coming
it
again.
comes
It's
out
coming
anyway,
again.
and there you go.
Well, I'm very confused about what just happened. Alright, yes.
That aura free potential not realized.
Unfortunate. No, clearly if he'd taken the first Ricci, right, the Ura would have changed. Alright, so that puts... What's the range? Okay, so Ronald is still within Mangan Sumo range for ZY, but a lot of the safety railing, for lack of a better term, is not there anymore. Can't get those fancy like 3-9 directs or 8k hits off of anybody else, so it will require some handcrafting. Fortunately for ZY, it does. Yep.
Yeah, just reach Itsumo, double non. Good.
Yep, or
Easy.
even something like if you can pick up one more Dora, like the Aka 5 pin or Aka 5 man, could go for double nan Dora Tsumo.
Unfortunately for them, they can see the red 5 Sozu out right now, which is currently the only 5 that they can directly take in. They do get Ishanten right here. It's not a happy Ishanten though, because they need that double non in order to get the Mongon.
So say
And right here, the difference between second and third place is so big, and the difference in Uma between first and second place is so big that YZ is probably just going to opt to greed as much as they can to fight for that first place, because first place is just so big, like amazingly so.
Yeah.
Can't give up first place. It's just too good. Ronald conning for style points. That would be cool.
I wasn't sure
No,
if we were
Ronald,
watching the
don't
same.
do it.
So say ZY draws like a 5 so. Do you reckon we'll see something akin to like a 4-pin drop Dharma to try and see if they can get the last South?
Most probably, but they do have one Dora, so they could Richi, Sumo, one Dora, and if they get an Uradora or Ipatsu, that would also be enough. So especially if they draw the 3-pin, they would probably opt to Richi here and bet on the Ura Ipatsu.
Okay.
Even if they draw a 5-8 Sozu, as the game goes on, their lot in life is pretty much set. They might also opt for the straight-up Richi. Currently, from their perspective, there's only one South left, so it's kind of hard to upgrade to that South right now unless they draw it beforehand.
Yeah, that does make sense. Didn't choose to take the 2-man, maybe float a very loose Sanshaku. Very loose. I'm being very generous by saying it's very loose. Tenpai
Richi
from
for Wallaby. Richi Pinfu Tanyao. One Dora with the Ura that would go up to a Hanemon, which is enough for second place right now.
Oh no. What's a danger tile for ZY? There's not much to get to the 4-pin over the 1-pin, so... Oh,
here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Does he take... Oh, it doesn't take the
Oh,
doesn't take the tempo.
Okay.
Can't 3-pins too poor of a weight, I presume? Oh, I would have done...
Oh,
no!
It's okay. It's okay. Even if he got that, he would still be second place.
What if but Ura?
I mean, even if you got like Richi, Patsu, Dora, Ura. Oh yeah, that will work. If
That's
you got
enough.
the Ura.
Yeah. Oh.
Except-
There's 4 pin.
Oh.
Now it's gonna be really like pro strats when YZ draws the last 4 pin and declares a Ricci, dropping the 1 pin.
Or this. Or
Oh.
this. Now 2 pin is
2
already
pin is
Gambit
safe.
2.
Yeah, 2 pin is safe. So
Interesting that ZY, not going for that Ricci.
now what could be really fun is if this continues up until the second to last draw.
Oh!
And
Oh, God.
ZY declares Ricci on the last draw to try to get the Ricci Tsumo Haite.
Oh,
delicious. Oh, there we go. 6 pin is safe though. 3 pin has 1 left in the wall.
yeah. Look, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna wait for it. It's next turn. Oh, never mind.
There's
Oh,
7
no.
pin though. That's still probably
And
fold.
we're out.
Yeah, even if they push and get Tempai, it doesn't mean anything. If they deal in here though, that does mean a lot. So yeah, they are backing out. Still have a chance to get into Tempai though. Dropping the 2 here. But
Unfortunately
Haku ends the round.
Hitori Tenpai for Wallaby. Thus sealing the places in. So we do have Ronald in first place, ZY in second, Wallaby in third, and Nazi in last place. Are we bringing 5 up to the desk?
Yep, I will bring him in now. Hello, 5. Welcome.
Guys, thank you. How's it going?
Well, welcome back, rather, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Lots of repeat appearances today on the interview desk.
Okay.
Now, first of all, congratulations on your win once again.
Thank you.
I must ask, that your first game tonight, not the best thing in the world, but this follow-up game, this follow-up game, how much does this actually mean for you here?
How much does it mean?
Yeah, like for your mental state, rather. It's just like, that last game wasn't so good. How did you go in?
Yeah, I was still playing a bit like Mud Soul Bronze Room style, like Ippon style, like opening and polling, like because of how the first game went. Yeah, it was a bit awkward, but yeah.
Yeah, but you pulled through and you got there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So I'll hand it over to Jay and Daisuke here. What are the points we want to talk about, lads?
Seems to be a lot of just death by 1,000 cuts from Ronald here.
Death by 1,000.
Yeah. So win 6 hands, 6 out of what, 12 hands?
Yeah.
That's a 50% win rate. Nothing immediately pops out to my eye. It felt like it was just mostly just taking your hands and winning them.
There was one big mistake I think I remember. It was South 1 when I dropped 4 man.
Which South one?
I think it was South.
No, not that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
The one I didn't win, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So I should have dropped 1 man instead because it let me open for Tanya, I think. Second row, I think.
Here?
That full man. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. And maybe let me open for Tanya if I could get the 6 pin as well. Yeah.
Nothing immediately comes to mind. It just felt like it was mostly like prep your hands, play them.
There was a lot of autopilot.
I wonder the choice between the 6-8 pin over the 6-7-8-9 man.
Yeah.
So, was it more? Did you see 7 man as better, or this was just like you chose one over the other and didn't think?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I just chose one over the other. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, nothing really immediately came to mind for me personally. Got anything, Daisuke? Oh, the 8-man Tunky. Yeah. How could I forget that one? I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. Where was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is this hand. It's literally this hand. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So you.
I didn't think I was gonna win off. Yeah, I think the 7-pin was a bit of a worse weight. I don't know. I just wanted the 8-man because I think it's more likely to win. That's all.
Mm-mm. So was there any consideration to Dama and see if you could draw something along the Sozu side or even like a 5-pin and go for a wider way? Or you just think like one reach, let's not mess around, let's go for it, you know?
Yeah, I just wanted to go for it. Yeah.
Yep, fair enough, fair enough. I can't really think of anything in particular.
Mm. I thought it
Yeah,
was- yeah,
congrats
I
on your
thought it was
win.
fine. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, very important win. They sort of towards climbing up the thing. All
Yeah.
first places are very important at this point, so
Yeah, we have some catching up to do. So
wish you all the
hopefully
best
some
of
more
luck.
luck. Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll see you
Alright.
next time, I guess.
Yeah,
We've
you
had
guys.
a lot of very repeat performances, so you know.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we'll see you next time on the desk.
no worries. We'll see you. Thank you.
All right,
Catch
bye.
up.
I think the other game's still running, right?
Yeah, I'm actually checking right now. Just to input the results. The other
Oh
game
yeah,
is in fact
it's
running.
very still running. And My Chemical Ricci taking it, taking the Hanchan by the horns here. Look at this.
All right, so just
Alright.
quickly going around the seating right now. So in starting order, My Chemical Ricci in the east seat, Sigma in the south seat, Veggie in the west seat, and Mikun in the north seat. Now, obviously, this is south too, so the winds have shifted one position to the right. Now, what catches our eyes, lads?
The Dora. It is a curse and a blessing right now.
Yeah.
For the dealer, definitely, I think it's pretty good because they have that south, so they can utilize it as a tanki.
Mm.
Ooh, Tempai for what is that? Mikun
Yep. we can-
Mikun.
waiting on the 6-3 Manzu. That's really good in the wall too. Still 6.
Hi.
Oh,
They're like, why didn't I choose the other weight?
Current.
oh.
Trying to think about what's going on. So, My Chemical Ricci here choosing to cut the sharp hair, probably not wanting to mess around with either the Mikun or the dealer.
Tanky.
The game is just like, how about this Tanya Dora Death Hands? It's pretty good, right?
Oh,
Ah,
Six-
Damba.
Rosso.
6-0 Tunky.
1 left in the wall. 5-pin, also 1 left in the wall right now.
Yikes.
Oh,
There you go. Waiting on a 258 Pinzu waits with that.
does choose the
For
Dharma.
This is nice. I can get behind this.
I can get behind this as well.
Ah.
Mikun just being like, why?
No.
Now we do see all of the
Actually,
8
is
pins
that the-
are out. All of the
I don't-
5 pins are out.
Is
How
that waiting
many-
on the 2? I don't think it's waiting on 2, just maybe the 5.
I actually can't
Oh.
calculate this weight in my head right now. Like need to sit down and think about it. It's what is it? 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think it's only just the 5-8.
Is it just 5 8-pin? So is this Karaten?
This might actually be 5-8. Hold on.
Yeah, it looks like just 5-8.
Interesting
Pin.
development.
Yeah, 8-pin is completely dead, so
Yeah. So it's waiting on from McReachie's perspective. It's waiting on a lone 5-pin. Wait,
oh,
no,
I guess
it is 2 5
waiting on
8-pin.
the
Yeah.
2-pin.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. No. It was 2 5 8-pin. We
See,
should have just looked
yeah.
for the
right
glowing
there.
tiles.
Oh, I see.
I mean, like, we have them on for a reason, but we doubted ourselves.
So unfortunately, Sigma does deal in on the 2-pin for Tanya Aka, moving us. Oh my
Into
gosh, this is a
Ricci's
Honetsu
hands.
hand.
Not even giving him like a choice, just like no, just go.
But looking around very carefully, Veggie's hand is nice. It's what got 2 Dora, Tanya Pinfu, maybe even Sun Shoku if it draws really really well. I have to emphasize how really well you'd have to draw to get to Sanshoku.
But the potential is there.
But
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore. Just like my future. Moving
So
on.
Mikrichi's keeping. Okay, so he abandons the Honetsu and maybe takes a straighter line Pinfu. Maybe Pinfu Dora 1. Dharma 10, as usual. 5-man drop from Veggie. Maybe an intention to just go for a Honetsu. So abandoning the more dangerous Manzu blocks.
Now, My Chemical Ricci has a really good chance for a pretty safe Kawashite here. Or, yes, they don't. Ooh, but the game is just like, no,
Greed.
please.
Greed.
Go for Honetsu.
I know you didn't want the Honetsu, but are you sure you don't want the... Oh.
And they're like, no,
Yeah,
I'm good,
sure.
I'm good. I'm just gonna pull in, drop the East, like, Chi, be in Tenpai, take my 1000.
Oh, Veggie is hard going for that Chinitsu. Cheese on the 7, so drops the Dora. Ishan 10 for Sigma. Ishan 10 for... Is that a... What? No, that's not Ishan 10. That's 2 Shan 10. Could be Sanshoku. Could be
Are you
Pinfu.
sure you didn't want Honetsu?
Alright, get that pawn, drop the...
So he can...
Yeah.
Going for just the straightforward line here.
Yeah.
They're like, no.
Sigma...
Like, do not tempt me, my heart is set.
Ishan 10 for Pinfu Sanshoku. Pinfu Sanshoku chance. Does elect to drop the 9 so into the Chinitsu push.
Nice draw from, what is their name? Veggie?
Veggie, yeah.
With
8
that
so does
so.
come out. Pon
18,000
from
point
Veggie.
Tenpai.
18,000 point Tenpai for
This is
Veggie.
a
Unfortunately.
crucial hand here.
Yes. I have to X out of the Discord because they're spoiling the scores and I don't want to know.
Currently, only one tile left in the wall, but My Chemical Ricci could shut this down with that 5-8 Pinzu. But My Chemical Ricci might actually deal into the dealer if they're not careful, because there's no overflow on the dealer. So scary stuff. Chi, yep,
Chi,
drops the 1
wrong.
pin, takes Tenpai on the 3-6 Sozu.
4-man draw. Does it like the 8 pin?
There it is.
Unfortunate. Does deal into 2,000 points.
The pious My Chemical Ricci.
And moving us along to South 4. Let's see. So my Chemical Ricci is very, very, very far away right now. What's that? A 7,200 point gap? Oh no, I'm sorry, my math is so awful today. 8,200 point gap between third and second, and a 4,500 point gap between fourth and third.
Meanwhile, are you sure you don't want a Yakuman? Like, please, I'm offering this to you. Just take it. It's fine. And then MCR reaching me like, no, I'm fine. I don't want a Yakuman. That's cool. I'm content with my 54,000 points in first place. I don't need any more.
So that's an interesting point. Like, you've pointed out these very, very like heavy hands that could happen for MCR Ricci, and he's choosing not to go with them. What's your personal take on it in terms of like when you're in these first places, like how much of a gap is it between you and second place before you're just like, let's just play this hand how I'd normally play it?
Yes and no. So you're in first place, and keeping first place is really big. But you're also like 30,000 points over first. As long as you don't break your like bottom line, like I'm going Haruka Tonki, screw you for my 2,000 point hand. So even if he does open up, as long as he has like a couple honors to fall back on for like the dealer to reach you or something, I think that's usually fine, and just playing for EV is okay, because this isn't Tenho. This is a game where if you do get first place, you're gonna get Uma and Oka, but your points also matter, and they do contribute to your total points overall because it's like it's like a team race, it's a marathon, so those points do matter. In the case where the difference between second and first is really close, usually, you want to just like buckle down, don't take any extra chances, because that first place versus second place is huge. You can't lose that no matter what. But in this case right here, you're 32,900 points over the dealer. Even if you deal into like a 12,000 point hand, technically you're not even second yet. So when it is that case, just playing for EV I think is pretty fine here. And then just shutting down, not doing anything too stupid, and just holding on to your bottom line that you won't cross.
Yep. So in this case, the hand has, as you say, the bottom line because it does only, but you can pawn the Haku and have these wests and easts that you can fold on.
Yeah. Now, I really like the choices from Mikun right here. Kind of staying Dama. They could actually opt to Ricci right here. So if they do Dama, that gives them a lot better chance to kill off MC My Chemical Ricci. But if they do Ricci, My Chemical Ricci has to fold. They're not pushing. So
Or a
if they
free
do draw,
potential.
yeah, if they do draw like a dangerous tile, they're out. Oh.
Senpai?
But Mikun decides to fold as well.
Come.
Come on!
Orange!
What? Ricci, Sumo, Rinshine, three.
Wait, does that jump him into third place?
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
Yeah. They give him third place.
Yeah.
If they did get a Hanemon, that would be enough for second place even.
So that is a very nice third place Gyakten for Sigma, thus leaving us with MCR Ricci in first, Mikun in second, Sigma in third, and Veggie in last place. That ends our week. We will go back. We will quickly look over the leaderboard as the. We should take before pictures. I've just realized that it's a lot more valuable if we can have how the Hanchan scores have changed over time. I'll keep that in mind for the future.
Have we
You
been
gotta add like
the standings every week?
Do we have a picture of the standings every week?
We maybe
Twitter?
not.
Well, not before today. Not before today. We'll do that for next time. But for now, this is our current standings. Definitely a change. We can see that Flamecrest Evil Eye has dropped from first place. Not a big issue because the top 4 does move on to the next round. So you don't need to dogfight for first place yet, especially with 6 more weeks of Hanchans to be played. Powerpuff Boys dropped a few ranks, I believe, but everyone else seems to be roughly where they were before.
Have the personal scores been updated yet?
Yes, the personal scores should. Oh no, they're not. Saber was on 77 before, so I think personal scores still require updating because I think like the way that they're doing it is a bit difficult.
I think
see.
the spreadsheet is coded in a different way for the team standings and in the individual standings. So the individual standings are coded, I believe, with like all the other stats. I think.
Oh. Okay.
Alright, so we end this week with Chombonami in first place, Flamecrest Evil Eye second, AUNSW Wanderers third, the last Weiss players fourth, Go Adelaide I guess, Tyler Dreaming close fifth, Doris for Losers sixth, Notice Me Tenpai for seventh, Zalmoni Chiteridis for eighth, the Powerpuff Boys for ninth, and Khan for Fun in 10th place. It has been our absolute pleasure to bring you this stream. Thank you so much to Daisuke for joining us for the past 2 days in commentating and providing some real high level analysis. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I can't think of anything else we need to go through. SBT?
Yeah, I guess the interesting point that we should bring up is we talked about it yesterday, how the scores have definitely evened out a little bit more. We still see the top 3 pack, but the middle of the pack has definitely become a little bit tighter here. The separation between 4th and 5th is basically non-existent here with the current score system we have. And the scores the 5th to 6th and downwards is a little bit steeper. However, so early in the league, the recovery potential is still there.
And especially with the first places, like Khan for Fun is even in last place still has plenty of chances to go for that first place. Even just like that aggressive Uma is ridiculous, and you don't notice it until you see one team get like 2 first places in a row, and they're suddenly like 6th place. So I think it'd be interesting to see like that in the future and how it goes on. But yeah, I guess only time will tell. I suppose we'll have to see how what happens. And the only way to see what happens is to join us next week. We will be on Mahjong Soul next week. Yeah, I think it's just on Mahjong Soul. We get to see BM emotes, which I know Totoro was extremely wanting to have there. He touted the psychological warfare of just emoting someone to death. So yeah, we'll see you guys on the Mahjong Soul client. Until then, goodbye.